families and Hispanic families and just about everybody is killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no families and Hispanic families and just about everybody is killing people. They can't buy groceries.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
Food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this.
Okay, that's hilarious.
You know why it stinks doing a show this late at night is because everybody has seen every single clip 100 times today. They've seen every single meme 100 times today. Like when we first planned this morning, I was so excited about this, and I'm like, I don't know. I've just watched every one of these things 100 times.
I've tried to stay away from them just to do the show. So
okay, that's good.
It never gets old, to be honest. It never does.
Nick's in his glory tonight. So we're not going to spend the whole show talking about that. Like we'll play a couple clips, we'll get everybody's insights on it, but I'm pretty sure everybody, oh good. People saying they haven't seen, all right, they've hardly seen anything on it. Okay.
If you guys are wondering, I have some breaking news. It's basically Trump's being charged in Georgia for murdering an older man on stage. That's apparently the charge. So
I was at my son's graduation yesterday, and my son was the class president, and he had to give a speech. And the principal calls my son about an hour before he's about to give his speech, and he says, is there any way you could just, because my son put a Bible quote in the speech, and he talks about the Bible and stuff, because you think you could just like maybe leave that quote out and not mention the Bible in your speech? And he's like, yeah, no problem. He goes out. He goes on, the first thing he says, I just want to thank God for bringing us all here today. And then he mentioned the Bible 3 times in the speech. He goes through this whole thing just talking to everybody about how he's like, how lucky we are. What are the odds of being born in the greatest country in the entire world? Like this patriotic biblical speech. Afterward, fathers were coming up to me and they're like, you did such a good job raising your son. But the principal gave him a hug afterward. He wasn't too upset about it. But it was a pretty fun day.
That's glorious. That's awesome.
I don't know if you saw the message, Anthony, that locals isn't working for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. What's going on with that?
I don't know. So no locals tonight, I guess.
Big L.
All right.
There's no way to fix it after the stream starts. So
what we could do is start a new locals stream after if we wanted to.
If we really, really wanted to.
Yeah, I know Rob won't.
We really, really, really wanted to.
It's just a pain to do, but I could do it.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just stay on YouTube tonight. I just know our local supporters get mad when we don't give them something.
Well, Don
gets mad.
Specifically, Don.
He's the class president for the local subscribers.
It was a guy principal, actually. It wasn't even a girl. He's a nice guy, too. He was very nice.
Well, I mean, he might be male, but he doesn't sound very manly. If he's
and he's like, I'm just worried about the crazies coming after me. It's like, first off, we're in such a conservative district. Like nobody thought anything of it. Nobody and the way the speech went, it wouldn't have made sense for him to not say it, because the quote he used, like it just wouldn't have made sense to leave it out of the speech. It would have
it almost would have been better for him to take it out and say, I had scripture here, but I was asked to remove it. That would have been.
But I said to him before he went up, I was like, he told me the principal called, and I'm like, listen, you could do whatever you want. He goes, Dad, I'm not taking it out. He goes, my whole life, that's all it's going to be, is just pressure to not say the thing you want to say. He's like, I'm not going to back down saying that.
Exactly.
He's like, what's he going to do? Suspend me? Like, he's handing me my diploma.
It's like a certain church changing a certain prayer on a certain Good Friday. Or
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Dude, your son sounds like a Chad.
Yeah, I love him. He's a good kid. All right, so you guys want to dig into some of these clips, and then we'll so the funny thing is,
do that, we should promote the merch. Don't forget the merch.
I got a new shirt on tonight.
I just got the
Rob got his Have you accepted Mary as your personal mother and intercessor shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some good merch in there, man.
How's the
I got-
Harambe sales?
So apparently, not as many people either thought that was as funny or knew what that was as I
It's too
wanted.
inside. That's what it is. It's too inside. Like it. So the Mary as your personal mother and intercessor thing is something every Catholic should want just because it's a good troll, right? Like you get that bumper sticker, you throw it on your car. It's something that when you roll up to your parish, everybody's going to understand. You wear the Harambe shirt. It's so inside baseball. It's like if you're not an AB fan, you're not going to know what the heck is going on. But
the bumper stickers do look pretty good, though.
Oh, that's pretty
awesome.
They
do.
Avoid pride. And also, and even the avoiding pride, like we're coming to the end of June now, so
I'll probably I'll probably remove that from the listing. I'll keep it just so we can launch it mid-May next year. But
yeah, so like we'll come up with some better ones, but I think the Mary shirt, like that saying alone is just one. It's one of those things. Like if you're Catholic, you should want that shirt or that bumper sticker.
Should we campaign for Alexander VI for Pope? Get like campaign merch.
We should do Pope Alexander was the most base Pope ever.
Or should we do Edward Habsburg for president?
Something like that. Yeah, we'll come up with a good one. We'll figure something out. I'll think of something. But yeah, if you guys want to get that shirt, that's my favorite one we've come up with so far. We used to have one up with the Shroud of Turin on it. I don't know if we still have that up there.
I could put one of those up there, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So right off the bat, my wife does not pay attention to politics at all. I mean, I've said it 100 times. She doesn't pay attention at all. I never heard her howl in laughter as much as she did last night. Like, she could not believe what she was witnessing. She was just like baffled that this man is our president. She's like, she has no idea. She doesn't see the clips we all see of Biden falling apart and, glitching out and stuff like that. I want Anthony to be the new protagonist in the Grand Theft Auto.
The main protagonist from the last one is basically you, to be honest.
He's like a mafia guy.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, he's Italian sounding.
Yeah, like, all right, so even an Amish shirt would be so inside baseball. Like, we got to really come up with ones that are unique, but also very Catholic that would have a broad.
Oh, I should make an Amish shirt just for you to wear it and videotape it.
Just make a shirt that says and then substituting Amish for what it really means. The blank are not the chosen people, and then put like the Catholic Church behind it or something like that. That alone would make a ton of money.
Yeah, but you put Amish. The Amish, you have to make it where it's kind of obvious what you're saying, but not too. But even that, it's like it's too politically incorrect. People will be worried about saying it. I'll think of something.
That's why the George Floyd shirt wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that one wouldn't. It's too offensive. Like people would be afraid to wear it. But
so your wife, you said she was screaming in laughter,
howling. Like, could not believe it. I went to go to the bathroom at one point and I just heard her burst out laughing. And it was when Biden goes, and by the way, and then just never said anything afterward. He's like, and by the way, and she's just like, oh my gosh, what did I just see? This is insane. So let's jump in with a couple of these clips and see what comes to our thoughts.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of other stories too, though. There is an apparition in Italy that the Vatican just said was a hoax, and it's linked to Medjugorje, which is interesting.
We've talked about that one though.
No, I think this is a new one. I just saw the new article. Then we have the article what we were going to do on Tuesday, but pushed off to tonight, which was there's an Italian priest saying that all the sacraments could be invalid. Right?
Yeah, I'm curious to look at that one.
So for anyone who ordered multiple things from the store, they come from different producers. So they will ship separate, have separate packing slips, things like that. So
yeah, that article is Pope Francis's errors are causing many invalid confessions, says an Italian priest and theologian. So we'll get to that tonight. And then there's a couple that we're going to do. So, all right, let's start with the clips. Let's see what we got. I guess do them in the order I sent them. I don't think they matter.
Enoch's comment. Oh my goodness, what a G. What a G.
Yesterday's debate is what it would look like if Nick Cavazos debated the Francis-based Zoomers. Well, that's part of what we were doing tonight. At the end of that show the other night, we had Pine Sap on. I'm like, we're gonna have to go like Uber trad Friday night to like palate cleanse and get the taste of the most base pope ever guys out of our mouth, you know. People weren't what it is all of the guys that like Pine Sap really like that show. But like, I don't think our general audience really even checked it out. You know, I think
They're like, who is this guy?
Yeah, our typical audience wasn't really crazy about it. All right, let's jump in with the clips.
Okay.
We get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Absolute G. Absolute
Okay, so that's the
G.
highlight of the night. That was by far the highlight of the night. Like, we should have saved that one for the end, I guess. But
I don't know. I saw one where he does a double take. Like what did you say? I think
the
that one
the facial expressions alone, Biden's facial expressions were just so insane.
Look at what just that there.
He's just looks lost and completely like had no idea what was going on. Yeah. I don't think our typical audience was crazy about the other night.
Oh, we
really
should make a crypto Sete shirt.
That would be fun.
That is a good idea.
We really
that
should.
one's actually pretty good idea.
A crypto Sete
What
shirt
really
would actually do good.
What really surprised me about last night's debate is everyone know I follow politics religiously, and I was expecting, in all honesty, Biden to come out wide-eyed, looking like he's been on Adderall for a good 48 hours, etc., pumped full of drugs, and hostile moderators. And I honestly pictured Trump to go like way off script a ton, which he didn't do as much as I actually thought he would. That first 30 seconds alone, when he staggers out in the very beginning, I was like, what the heck? And then when he starts speaking in that raspy voice, I was like, oh no. The first question they asked him when he answered, as soon as I saw that, I fired up. I go, there's no chance he makes 90 minutes. Like there was just from that instant he came out, you saw how frazzled he was. And you're right. You thought he would, because look, we all thought Biden was like this in 2020. Yeah. Every one of us, because we saw the clips and we were like, this guy's gonna, and we thought he was gonna come out like that in 2020. And Trump actually, in his first debate with Biden in 2020, he came out bullying him, and Trump didn't look good. Like it came off like Trump being too crass and badgering too much, and it worked so badly against him. And Biden came off as like the calm, cool, collected one. They gave him enough of a drug cocktail that he was able to keep it together. But we thought he was like this in 2020. Here's the thing. What this debate is basically the gladiator tournaments, where everybody tuned in, not so much to see a presidential debate. We all wanted to see Biden get mauled by a tiger. Like that was the whole point of everybody watching last night. It wasn't even like, look, Trump, when you ask Trump a question, he doesn't actually answer the question. He runs into his rally talking points, where he gets like a big roar from the crowd by things that he says at rallies. But when they ask him a specific question, he always manages to bring it back to immigration. He always, he's got these rehearsed talking points that he goes through. He's much sharper than Biden. Yeah, and it's smart because the top three issues at the moment, number one is Biden's age, number two is immigration, number three is the economy. So like as an example, when last night he was asked about J6, perfect answer he gave. He was just like, well, you know what? On J6, we had a good economy. On J6, we had no massive immigration problem. On J6, we didn't have, Nick's translation, an old codger running things and messing everything up. Beautiful answers. Beautiful answers.
Yeah, he didn't get bogged down into they stole the election. He didn't get into any of that. I was very impressed with Trump's ability to keep his cool last night. Not like he threw one or two zingers in, like that one we just watched, but he wasn't badgering him. He kind of just sat back and let Biden dig his own grave, which was brilliant. It really was. Like the whole like turning the mics on only when they wanted them to talk backfired on CNN, because Trump never really tried to jump in and talk anyway. He kind of just sat back and just every once in a while we would just look and go, like, he give that face
No,
that
for
he
real.
gives, just like, what is this guy talking about right now? You
I
know,
think it helped him because it was like he was like, okay, I got 2 minutes to respond. I can either ramble or I can be like poised about this and technical. And his first answer out of the gate, Biden, you know, his raspy voice, Trump standing tall, acting all like 1980s presidential all of a sudden. Personally, again, I've seen every debate of Donald Trump from 2016 up. This, I think, was the best one. And it wasn't just because of how bad
stop it.
Biden
The
was.
one with
I
Hillary when
honestly
he
think
says you'd be in jail was by far his best one.
Best for entertainment, 2016, but best in the sense of like tact and poise and presidential. Definitely last night was. He just seemed like he had it really together.
Okay, so what do you think of this? Because everybody's saying this. I think the debate was a setup. Biden's campaign wanted him to do this, even though they knew the issues. It's all part of the plan to set something up. There's no way Biden's people didn't know. So I see a lot of conservatives saying this, right? They're like, dude, they did this 3 months earlier than they normally would, right? And I think they wanted to do it because if he totally bombed, now they have time to throw another candidate in. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like that last night. Like I saw people like right early on in the debate. I was just watching people's comments and everybody was like, they're taking him out. There's no way. But then I see Biden double down today and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. Goes to a rally and then Obama backs him up. And Obama,
after a meeting with Obama comes out and backs him up.
And the funny thing is, now that Obama did that, you're going to watch the media backtrack on all the rhetoric they've been giving you the past 2 days. So after the debate last night, they were all like, he's got to go. He's got to go. Today, all you heard was he's got to go. He's got to go. The New York Times put out an editorial today. Biden needs to step down for the good of the country. But Obama put that statement out. Watch every single one of them do an about face and get back in line.
Unless it was to just look good so his wife can jump into the race.
What you saw last night.
There's no chance Michelle Obama runs.
No.
Yeah, what you saw last night was a brief time where Democrats snapped into reality and now they're going back into full cope mode. And what you saw particularly was the reality that they have for months now been blaming Republicans and saying that we've been creating deep fakes of Biden going insane and falling down and all kinds of stuff. And then last night, and I think they convinced their base that that was the case. But then last night, Biden comes out, staggers around. His answer when it came to Medicare, goodness gracious, it was like 15 seconds of stumbling around. Wild. Why don't we show the clip? Because it's
so real quick. So Jake, I'm not necessarily critiquing your opinion on that, because all of us are watching this whole election cycle go down. And there's something different. It's like, okay, so last election they had COVID, right? Like what is the game this election? Like it's almost eerily creepy that they don't have a con running yet that you can see through. That's like, it's almost like they're comfortable, like they know, like maybe they're going to cancel the election or something. Like it's just like they have to have something up
like a major war or something. Yeah,
it could be a major war. But personally, honestly, this might sound just really naive and basic, but I really do believe that pride is a great blinder, and they are very proud people, and so they might have literally just thought, "Hey, we can beat him again. Trump is finished." That could be a legitimate possibility. They could just be that dumb,
or they just have that much election fraud set up and ready to go.
Well, that's what I'm curious to know what their con is this time. Like so they changed all the election rules in 2020 for mail-in ballots. Did those rules go away now that COVID's over, or do we still have those rules?
I think in some states they did.
Yeah.
But I don't know about others.
The vast majority of states have swapped on those. So if you guys want to, I think it's Scott Pressler. I think that's his name. He's doing a lot of the on-the-ground work of going and basically overturning this with local Republican Party chapters and stuff like that. And it's been something like 6 to 10 states or something of like the major battleground states that they've gotten to switch. So I don't think that there's enough time for them to do, ballot printers go burr to overturn something. There's a lot that's changed.
Yeah, there's not a doubt in my mind that is how they did it last time. It was through mail-in ballots. I mean, that was the con last time. It was just, you know, you could say whatever you want. Like, it was just, we all went to bed that night. Trump was soaring in every battleground state. We went to bed and they're like, oh, we got to stop the count. Every single state stopped the count. It was like, are you kidding? Like, it was so unbelievably obvious. It was, I just knew the second they said stop the count, I knew I was going to bed that night and waking up, and it was, and then I woke up in the morning and everywhere Trump was up, it was like, and it went the other way. I was like, this is, you know, and then all the fake recounts they did, and it was just so nuts.
I was up at 3 a.m. because I was just watching the whole thing, and I remember being like, "You're joking me? What the heck?" I had like 50 different tabs open, tracking every single state. You're just watching this natural progression, then boop, and you're like, "What?" It basically did the inverse of the betting averages that you guys have seen. Have you guys seen the RCP betting averages?
Yeah.
Since last night, absolutely hilarious. If people want to go watch something funny, just go type in RCP betting averages 2024, and you'll see that Biden went from, I think it was like 35 or something last night, 36, 35, crashed down to 19.
Yeah.
19. It's so bad.
It's pretty rough. All right, what clip we got next, Rob?
Every pharmaceutical company cannot have to pay. Thank you. And by the way,
that clip right there. My wife, I was in the next room. I was going to the bathroom, and I just heard her burst out laughing, and I'm like, what did I miss? What did I miss? She goes, he just goes, by the way, and never said anything. I'm like, holy cow, man, I cannot believe this.
It's kind of sad. I put this online yesterday. It's like he got to the point where you kind of felt bad for the guy. You're like, man, this kind of sucks. It's like elder abuse. But then you remember it's like, oh yeah, well, he's bombed multiple countries, showered with his daughter, messed up his son. Yeah,
beyond that, all those things 100% true. But beyond that, it's think about what he's been doing to us the past 4 years. It's like you can't have this sudden like empathy for the man when
I wouldn't say 4 years, I'd say like 50 years. That's
right, but specifically the past 4 years, his family who's around him and his handlers have known exactly his mental state, everything, and they keep sticking him up there. I'm not going to feel bad about finally getting what we've all known for the past 4 years displayed for the world to see, because every time he's gone to a G7 summit, you caught these stories. Every world leader that he's dealt with knows the kind of cognitive decline that he's been under. Everybody on the inside knows, but this is the first time where the wider Democratic Party, who keeps their head buried in the sand, watching CNN, watching the Young Turks, watching whatever crap they watch, where they finally got a taste of what we've all known for the past 4 years, like 100%.
No, yeah, exactly. It was glorious. And I think that what's telling about this is also when you actually manage to get past all the kerfuffles of last night, the answers to his the substantive answers he tried to give did not connect with the top three issues. For instance, like immigration. He's like, immigration has gotten lower. Illegal immigration has gotten lower under my presidency, or we've had no soldiers die under my presidency, or the economy is fine, etc. And to CNN's credit, I honestly thought that they asked fair questions, which I thought was somewhat
I think they caught so much crap about them rigging the debate that they were like, all right, we kind of have to be a little fair and balanced here.
Plus that, do you guys remember, what was it, a year ago, that Trump town hall with that lady reporter, where he just absolutely decimated her? They probably were like, yeah, we don't want to fall into that again.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you start to badger. You make him look like the good guy. So there's a whole lot that was going on last night, man. And
like co-sleeping. What is
modern is the golden opportunity, yes, but co-sleeping. Yeah, there was a lot going on last night. I'm just.
I could make a joke about Biden and co-sleeping, but I'm not going to.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no, because he actually probably did co-sleep with his kids to really inappropriate ages. So, I'm
just gonna leave it at that.
the thing with Trump on abortion, like the Trump flub on that issue is something I've seen a lot of people jumping on today. Like, I mean, I think anybody who really thought Trump was like a pro-life president, you're naive if you ever thought that's what you like. If you're shocked that Trump will say what he has to get elected on this issue. I don't know what you guys really think. He's the guy's not a Christian.
He had the same answers that he actually had in 2016. If you go back and watch his clips in 2016, he says Roe v. Wade should just be returned to the states. That's all he said, right?
Yeah.
And like of the two positions, that is the better one, but that is still not good. However, it's like, as to your point, Anthony, he's not a moral Catholic. And so again, I think if people are expecting like this Leo the 13th style God Emperor Trump, then they're going to be disappointed.
No,
it's a
and
sucky
you also
answer. I didn't like
you have to realize, I know it. I know the position is garbage, right? But at the same time, he's the reason Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Yeah, and it's the winning position. It's the winning position.
He's not going to do anything. I almost don't want anything done federally on it. Let's fight this at the state level at this point, and we all need to do some. What you think you're going to get a federal abortion ban? It's never going to happen.
No, but I don't think we can't be utilitarian if it's morally wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying be utilitarian. I'm saying
you kind of are. The idea that he should go with it because it's a winning.
No, I don't think he should go with it. I don't. No. I don't think he should go with it. I'm saying it is what it is. It just is what it is. It's at the state level. Like, let's fight it at the state level right now. We managed to get it overturned at the federal level. Now there's no federal laws on it. So now you have to actually bring the battle to, like, that was the whole, we were like, we have to overturn Roe. We overturned it. Now, unfortunately, you have some states that enshrined it in their constitution. There's going to be a lot of work to be done there. You're just not going to get it in this time period. It's going to be one of those things that's going to take a little bit of time to overturn. And we're going to need a total moral conversion of this country. It's just what it's going to take. It's not going to happen in this election cycle, so you just kind of got to deal with, there's not a single candidate we can choose from that's going to be the pro-life candidate. Now you hope that Trump's stance is enough to keep putting the right judges in so that we could continue the work we've been doing.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's like the clip I sent to the Avoiding Babylon chat this week of TFP was out protesting this rainbow mass that was taking place in O'Malley's. I think it's O'Malley's diocese or something to the effect. And they asked these people protesting outside, they asked the priests, like, yo, why are you doing this, etc. And there was one priest in like this massive parish who was against what was going on. He was just like, yeah, I called the bishop about it, but the bishop just said, yeah, if I do anything about it, people are going to get mad at me and I'm not going to do anything. I can't do anything. And that's the problem. It's just like, okay, guys, you want us to have true conservatives run for office, clean up the church first. That's what
I was just going to say. You guys are looking for a pro-life politician. How about a pro-life bishop? Like, we don't even have those. Like, we really need to clean up the church, and the church is what changes the world. You're not going to get the political sphere to change the church. It's got to be from the inside out we work.
Exactly. I personally thought, and I don't know if you guys have the clip of it, but that the worst lie last night was a particular golf claim.
Oh, we have that. Let's just keep going through the clips because we have a bunch of good clips, and if some people haven't seen them, they're actually hilarious.
This one, if this is it, that's great.
Look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6.
Trump's face.
I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest rival. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap. Yeah. 8. But I have.
Did he forget he just said 6 like 10 seconds before that?
Wait, finish it.
I mean,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Dude, Trump is, aside from the fact that was the funniest answer ever, it's just like, goodness gracious. This was like when Joe Biden back in 2020 was like, yeah, man, let's go out behind the schoolhouse and we'll do push-ups. I'll challenge you to a push-up contest and we'll see how you do. And Trump's just sitting over there laughing like, what is this guy saying?
He thinks like when he comes out and he's like, this is, I don't know. That clip might have just been poor volume.
And it was at the highest. I can't make it louder. I'm sorry.
Everyone go look it up though. Like if you want the full audio, because that is a hilarious clip. It is so funny.
There's actually a really funny one of 2 guys impersonating them.
Golf is super straight.
Super straight. Yeah.
You're right. Because Trump is very well known to be a guy into guys. Oh man,
Let me see
What
if
are
I can
you looking
find.
for?
I think he's looking up
Let
like
me
an
see.
impersonation clip or something.
Yeah, it was really, but the audio was really good on it. It's two brothers
Oh,
impersonating the two of
yeah.
them. It was actually really funny.
I
All
did
right, I'm
see
not gonna
that.
find it on here. All right, let's go to the next clip. Let's see.
So
Don't
that
go to
was
the.
it. That was it of all. That was all you sent me of the debate itself.
No way, no way, no way. Hang
Yeah.
on.
1,
I thought there
2,
was like at least 2
3.
more or something.
I had a few in there. Hang on.
No, you had 3.
Big L. Big L.
Wait a minute. No.
How many of
wait.
you guys for you guys in the
Gone?
chat? How many of you guys watched it live? The debate last night. Like, were
I
you
watched the
screaming?
whole thing.
Because I'm
I did not
curious.
watch it live.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest.
All right, that's the one we just watched.
Happy to have a
Yeah, I
driving
guess I
contest.
did. Oh, maybe.
You were crying. You were crying, Sean. Yeah, no, I was dying of whenever I was eating dinner, watching it. My parents were in another room, and they just heard me shriek like to death. Whenever the golf happened, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Let's play the Young Turks clip because that
Okay.
was
Oh,
really
yes,
interesting to
please.
me. The Young Turks clip is really interesting. Like, part of the joy of all of this is watching the liberals come to grips with reality. I hope there's no bad language in it.
I just
don't
figured
think-
we do the Young Turks, like the commentary stuff, after watching everything
Okay.
from the debate.
All right, so yeah, all right, so let's watch. This is after the debate. Look at how infantilizing his
Well,
wife
This was after Jill literally had to help him off the stage.
helped him off the stage,
Yes.
walked him down, and they shook hands with the moderators. Trump walks out like a G. He just walks out, and then
Boom,
they
gone.
come down the stage. They shake hands with the moderators, who they're besties with, because the whole thing was set up to help him. And then this is after the debate.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
That's the voice of a mom telling her, 5-year-old that
Kindergartner.
just sucked at something. Like,
You
oh no,
knew-
honey, you did really good.
You did really. You knew all the questions and you got all the answers. Like, it's infantilizing. It's
Bro,
so
you're
crazy.
listening to the real president talk right now.
Yeah, it's
Joe,
pretty.
you did
pretty
such
good.
a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie! Yes.
Oh my
That's her
gosh,
actual
how is-
voice. She sounds like that for real.
I think she might. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
No, she's clearly she's a 1,000,000,000% in charge. Let me just say this: the fact that last night you had number one, Biden picked the dates, picked a venue, picked the moderators and the mainstream outlet that would be friendly to him, picked the rules that that mics would be cut off, time limits would be given, and that there would be no crowd. And the dude walks out after 5 days of preparing at Camp David, looking like a guy who has not been on coffee his entire life. Goes to show you what a
I
joke.
just think she
What a
might
joke.
be one of the
And-
most. She might be one of the most evil women that has ever lived. I mean, besides Hillary and a couple of other
Look at her.
exceptions.
Cleopatra.
If people want to see, if people don't know much about Joe Biden, go check out her comments on abortion, and you'll have your stomach turn.
Oh
upside
yeah,
down.
of course. They're all monsters on that area. But just to
Yeah.
to subject your husband to ridicule before the entire nation like this is just
Exactly.
evil, man. It's
You got
like this.
all the answers right. I'm like, the fact you said specifically that line, you got all the answers right.
Dude, you have to think about what a guy his age should be doing. A guy his
Dying?
age, yeah, like at home though. He should
Yeah.
be at home sleeping for 12 hours a day. He's not supposed to be going off meeting world leaders and going to world summits and all this stuff. Let the guy actually step down with a tiny bit of dignity. I mean, she just made
I'd say let him
fool
spend
of
time
him.
with his grandkids, but maybe not.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I watched
too
the
much,
thing
too much
today.
co-sleeping. Too much co-sleeping.
I watched the thing today of one of the grandkids he doesn't acknowledge. Like the whole family doesn't acknowledge. Hunter had a
Yeah.
kid with some chick.
Hey, what's up, Michael Lofton? How you doing, bro?
Treason and rheology.
Treason and rheology.
He should be doing lifeguard duty at the local pool.
1,000% fighting off corn pop and everybody.
Yeah, it's just wild. All right, so let's do the Young Turks thing.
the split screen is killing Biden. Yep. Because he's got his mouth open, he looks confused, doesn't know where he is. He's lost his train of thought at least twice in like disastrous shape. Those are going to be played 1 billion times in viral video after viral video. This is an epic disaster. It like I see people online saying, "Well, okay, that answer wasn't so bad." No, it doesn't. Any particular answer doesn't matter at all. This thing is over. He looks like he's barely surviving. I don't mean the debate, I mean life. And so there's no person that has a single brain cell left in their head who thinks that Joe Biden is the best candidate to take on Donald Trump. You would have to be even crazier than Donald Trump to think that. This thing is over. I'll guarantee you this. I would bet show me a Democratic politician and I will bet them any amount of money that Joe Biden's going to lose this election if he's the candidate. It's a guaranteed loss. You're telling me this is the most important election of our lifetimes?
Because what's funny about that to me is that like he actually thinks the last election was legit. It's like when
either that or he knows they could make Biden president if they wanted, but he knows they don't want to, so he knows that it fixes like that's they're going to choose someone else. It's one of the two.
I really think like your average Democrat thinks the last election was legitimate, and that just baffles me. Like, you guys really not? I mean, I can understand like you want your guy to win, so you're like, I'm willing to accept a little cheating to get my guy in. But what happened that last election was insane. I mean,
yeah,
insane. 81 million votes. My toe.
Don made a good joke today. Don goes, "Yeah, you guys are all laughing at the sleepy guy, but when he wins by having the most votes ever cast for a president, you guys won't be laughing so much then, will you?"
Yeah.
Oh, man. I will say I don't think that there's almost anything more funny in this life than watching Zhang Zhuger freak out on the Young Turks, because it reminds me so much of 2016, that epic 2016 meltdown on the Young Turks, excuse me, on their live show.
Play the rest of the clip. I don't know if there's anything else.
Hold on. While I pull this up, look at the bottom where look at how they describe their executive producer on YouTube.
YouTube channel member, executive producer,
Xeno
Dragon, the gay America First Dragon, AJ.
Or the gay, gay.
Gay as F Dragon, AJ.
Nick was like 12 in 2016. Margot, get out of here. Get out of this chat. I was not 12 years old.
No, you were 17, weren't you? I mean,
no, I was. I think it was 19. Yeah, 18.
How old
19.
are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, 18. Yep.
Yeah.
Was that your first election voting?
It was, dude. And I remember when Trump came down the escalator that day, my dad and I were riding in the car and we were listening to talk radio. And I heard this guy was like, "We're going to build a massive wall and make Mexico pay for it." And I was like, "Dad, who is this guy? I like this guy." And he was like, "This is Donald Trump." And I was like, "I don't know who he is." And he's like, "Well, he played in some movies like Home Alone." I was like, "Oh, he was the one who helped Kevin find the the lobby." Yeah. All right.
It's funny.
Dude, I'm starting to act like Biden. I'm forgetting my age.
He had such a huge cultural impact that like my son and his friends would wear MAGA stuff to like troll people. You know what I mean? Like they'd go into school with MAGA shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would do the same at the private school all the time. And whenever I went to college, dude, oh my gosh, my first semester of college, that day after the election, every single teacher canceled class and was like, "You can go to therapy. We're providing therapy at the schools for you guys." It was wild. And check this out. I don't know if I've ever told this story on air, but the week before, I came into my political science class, right? It was the first class I ever took outside of like grade school. And butch haircut lesbian professor, right? And I went in there and I bet 100 students $10 each that Donald Trump would win. And this was a week before, and everyone was like, "No, Trump's screwed. He's not going to win." That next week, I walked in there. I cleaned house, bro.
Good for you.
I cleaned house. And what was the best part was getting the professor's money, as she was saying, we've elected an open white supremacist. And I was just like, I don't care.
Awesome.
I got $1,000.
That's awesome. We had a lot of guys at work betting each other. And one guy lost like $5,000 to another guy. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. it was just just one of those days where it almost felt like you couldn't wrap your mind around it because we weren't supposed to win. We were supposed to lose. Like, it was supposed to go to Hillary. They were supposed to cheat. And it was just watching that night. I stayed up for the entire thing until they called it for him. And I was just sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, this is insane. I couldn't believe it. And then watching everybody crying at the Hillary, at Hillary's headquarters with the glass ceiling that was supposed to shatter that didn't. So it's as black-pilled as I am on politics now, seeing a round two of that would be awesome. Just to watch a second meltdown like that, And we saw a little bit of it last, like the rest of this Young Turks Club. Let's play the rest of that, and then we have the CNN, CNN panel. Yeah.
You're telling me that democracy's on the line, and you're going to put on a guy who can't even talk, who can't even sit there and look normal. This thing's a bloodbath. He's going to get annihilated. That is okay. Now the Democrats have to.
Dude, well, I love how flames are flying in the background. Like they're that doomish. They're like, we're screwed, and they are quite frankly, unless they get their act together.
Oh man, this clip is so quiet.
Is it?
It's terrible. I have high quality headphones on and I can hardly hear. We can
Let's
try
see if we can find it somewhere else then.
You can probably just look it up on YouTube unless you're
here.
afraid of
Well, tell me if you guys can even hear this.
Yeah, play it. Let's see if we can.
A record number of migrants have illegally
crossed
the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
No, this is another clip, Rob.
What makes me really sad is that my grandmother, right, she actually has like a really hardcore form of amnesia. And so whenever I go and I talk to her, or no, Alzheimer's, excuse me, not amnesia, Alzheimer's, and she will forget who I am, but she'll have these blank stares. Last night I was like, wow, my grandma's running for president. What is going on? It's really sad.
You did not send the CNN panel.
What the heck? I thought I did. Hang on. Where is it? I must have it in my phone somewhere. Hang on.
Record number of.
No, that's not it. I wanted the guy.
Was it the one where it was like all 12 of them post and they were talking about it?
I have it on my iPad. I have it upstairs on my iPad. Oh, man. It was just the guy from CNN just going in. Right now, the Democratic panel. You guys want to talk for a minute? I'll go grab it.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk.
Dude.
Yeah, you guys talk for a minute. I'll go grab it.
I'm wondering if what Anthony is thinking about is what's that guy? What's that black reporter from CNN's like
Don Lemon?
Van Jones or something?
Oh, Van
That's
Jones,
not Don Lemon. Van
Jones.
Jones. Van Jones. He was like, I'm gonna speak from my heart for a second. I love this man. I love him so much. And I believed in him for so long. But tonight I felt like we just need to tell him we love you too, Joan. You need to retire. Something like that. It was so bad. It was like it was the night, I think it was 2020 when Biden won. He like shed a few tears and he was just like, I could finally tell my kids you can look up to the president. I was like, bro, if you're telling your kids to look up to a guy who's been showering with his daughter, you have a messed up house.
Oh, that's terrible. Adrian wants to see the new gun. Which one, Adrian? There's been a few.
You're talking about the revolver, I think?
No, there's been a newer one since then.
Oh, really? Which one is it?
Hold on.
Rob's got a AR. He just pulls out behind the counter.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I was like unload it so that YouTube doesn't completely ban you.
Yeah.
Fun world of YouTube, y'all. Lots of things you have to be careful about. Hey, what is this? 1911?
Nope. SIG P220 Legion and 10 millimeter.
Pretty. That's nice, dude. How many
Yeah.
rounds does it carry?
8.
Okay, cool. Standard amount. Yeah, no. Oh man, that was definitely prettier than the debate. That's for sure. But
Hold
oh,
on.
bro.
Let's put before he can hear us. Let's put him up all by himself.
No, don't do that. I heard you say that. Hang on.
Hi guys, I'm back.
I heard you say it. All right,
man.
I'm shooting it to my phone. Now I'm going to shoot it over to you. Hang on, let's see.
Yep, Brian, 10 millimeter is, yep, that's for bears and moose.
Dude, modern papist RFK Jr. was there last night, though. He was like speaking through Biden's voice, all scraggly.
So, well, what do you guys think they do? Do you think they stick it out with him?
I don't know.
I do.
Probably.
I do. I gave, if people want to go check out my channel, I put up a really short video, like 15 minutes long on the subject today. But I'll give you the basic gist of why I think he's going to stay. If he's going to stay because there's too many problems if you were to leave. Here are the problems that I see off the top of my head. Number one, if you were to just bow out now, then you would have to find obviously a replacement. They can't just pick one, like coronate them, for two reasons. One, it would look super elitist. Two, the voting population would freak out because they weren't allowed to choose anything, right? So it would be too bad. Second reason is
I don't know. I think Democrats don't think like that. Republicans would. Like if they did that and they just stuck DeSantis in, I think Republicans would go nuts. But I think Democrats are just like anybody but Trump.
But check, I mean, well, there's definitely some of those, but there's a lot of people who genuinely actually like Biden. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who genuinely like Biden. And the reason I say this is the second reason, which is, what do you do with Kamala Harris? You can't just kick her to the can. And so if you were to, like, say, for instance, put Newsom in there, which is what people have been saying all today, you would infuriate the BIPOC voters and the people in interracial identity politics. Plus, she wants to be president. She clearly wants to be president.
Yeah, she would be furious for being looked over. Like, you can't just, like, she is a big problem. And everybody's saying, okay, well, maybe you solve that by putting Michelle Obama in. Michelle Obama is not likable. Like, she's likable as the first lady because she was handled with such kid gloves. She wouldn't be likable spewing political positions. There's a very big difference in being likable as the first lady versus being actually likable as a politician.
Here's the thing. If they want to make sure that they don't lose the black vote to Trump, they need to run Hunter Biden.
Oh, so true.
Well,
did you guys hear because there was multiple White House staffers today that were talking on reports about when Obama came to their meeting today, and basically they made the decision that they're going to stick it out, which is the main reason why I think that they're sticking with Biden. Kamala was freaking out that she wasn't even on the short list that the White House had put out.
They were going to just pass right over her.
Exactly, because she, let's be honest, would be worse. Like last night, if Kamala would have been up there, Biden would have done better.
She is probably the only woman who would be less likable than Hillary.
Yeah, she's the most unlikable politician of all time.
She's unbearably bad. I mean, she just has that cackle. She's just so out of touch with reality. People cannot stomach that woman. So where Biden, it's strange because he's this doddering old fool. He has an innocence about him. He doesn't come off as evil like Hillary did. He doesn't come off as evil like that. He comes off as just this doddering old fool who, he's not pulling the strings. There's other people running the government. It's just, he's just there,
Yeah. Enoch has a good point. Newsom actually, when you pit Newsom versus Trump in single head-to-head up matchup polls, he actually does worse than Biden, which is it's partially because of incumbent advantage. When you take the real race, which is the six-way race, when you take the Libertarians, Jill Stein, Cornel West, RFK Jr., Trump, Biden, Trump is out on top. He's out on top in two ways. He's out on top clearly in the six ways, and he's really out on top when it comes to the battleground states, which is what you need. Obviously, you guys all have to go and vote because otherwise it's just theory. So
yeah, AOC's too young.
She's not 35, is she?
I think she's 35 next year. She's not old enough.
Really? Dang.
Yeah.
She has to be. I think you have to be 35 at least to be.
You have to be 35. She's 35 next year. She's not old enough this election.
You know who's 35?
Who? You?
Senior. Dude,
Yeah,
I would pay
don't think
I
you're
would
very
pay
electable.
$100. I would pay $100 to see a Rob versus AOC presidential race. That'd be epic,
Yeah.
dude.
All right, I sent the
AOC
clip
will
over.
definitely run for president.
Let's watch that CNN clip.
Was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. Was a game-changing.
So yeah, I took that from Dave Smith's show.
Thanks, Dave Smith.
The thing is, since Obama went there today, I'm telling you, you're not going to see any of those public quotes, because all day they were talking about, well, Chuck Schumer should come out and say something, and this one should come out and say something. Obama went there today, had a talk with Joe. He said, get your ass out on the campaign trail, go put something public out there showing that you have some energy, some vigor. And that's what we saw today. Joe was out. He does great reading a teleprompter. He did the State of the Union. They give him his drugs. If he's got a teleprompter, he's fine. The problem is you stick him up there for 90 minutes without that teleprompter, and you get the bumbling, mumbling idiot.
Yeah, exactly. And Obama is the kingmaker of the Democrat Party. He's
100%.
still clearly very much. I mean, they not only treated
if not
him,
the one actually running the show behind the scenes.
Oh, exactly. I think it's a combination of him, handlers, plus Jill. But he was not just treated with kid gloves. I don't know if you guys remember, but famously on MSNBC, Chris Matthews, like Obama's first 2009 State of the Union address, he famously said, man, this guy, he gives speeches worthy of Abraham Lincoln. I forgot that he was black for an hour tonight. You know, it was just all kinds of interesting off the wall
early on,
stuff.
I was like, he's very well spoken. Oh my goodness, a black guy who doesn't use ebonics.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, okay. But they treated that man as the Messiah. So if that guy goes over and says, Joe, get your act together there, he's going to be the nominee.
You have to understand, as Obama's leaving, you had who was Trump's it was General Flynn. So Obama hated General Flynn. So as Obama's leaving, General Flynn is coming in and starting to set up diplomatic negotiations, because he's going to be whatever position, I forgot what position he was going to be in. And that's what starts the entire deep state going after Trump. And they just start looking for all this Russia connection, all this stuff. And it all had to do with, because they saw all the foreign policy stuff that Obama had put into place. Trump was about to overturn and do things completely different because General Flynn saw the disaster that was going on in the Middle East. And he's like, I don't want to, and we have to change this. We have to change this. And that is actually what started all these investigations. It led to Trump's 2 impeachments. It led to the deep state literally trying to pull a coup on their own president. I mean, you have to realize, you talk about traitors. I mean, they tried to frame the sitting president for treason. That's insane.
It was kind of funny to watch Flynn ratio salmons this week.
Did he?
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Flynn put the replied to one of Eric Salmon's tweet and just ratioed him to all heck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, you're not wrong, Anthony. I mean, like, the military-industrial complex, which wants perpetual wars and perpetual power, perpetual oil and perpetual money, is going to do whatever they can to try to stay in power, which is, again, why I would not be surprised with, for instance, like the Russian submarine that's off the U.S. coast right over in Cuba, things along that nature, Chinese military ships and stuff circling our stuff. It would not surprise me in the least if we get into a war before election day, which is why I'm telling people. Some people are like so doomer. They're like, why vote for Trump? I don't care. And I'm like, let me give you just one good reason. I don't want to be sent to frickin' World War III. Yeah. And typically the people who are complaining and saying like, I don't want to vote for Trump. I'm like, yeah, but you're like 53. You won't be drafted. So please, please vote for the guy, because I don't want to go to war.
I do think Trump could end the war in Ukraine. I do think Trump will, even the stuff with Israel, it's his biggest fault is his position on Israel. I don't know. All right, so let's see.
Here it is.
All right, so as I made
You
clear,
sir are a fool.
I strongly oppose the recent statements of Vigano as they pertain to rejecting communion with the Catholic Church and rejecting legitimacy of the papacy of Francis. That being said, we cannot lose sight of the fact that the greatest evil comes. Expand that.
I can't.
Oh, you screenshotted it?
No, he screenshotted it. Salmons did.
You, sir, are a fool. Oh, Mike Flynn. I love it.
That's really funny, dude. Oh, brother.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, should we do all right? So, any closing thoughts on this whole election? The second hour, we're going to get into some Catholic stuff. I know you guys have bared with us. We had to do the political stuff for Nick tonight. This is Nick's wheelhouse. Nick,
I have one closing thought.
Let's hear it.
So true, dude. So true. So true.
How about you, Nick? Like, where do you think? I'm glad that you mentioned the going to war thing, because my son's drafting age. I don't want my son going to war, and I really. There's a few reasons. Like, I do think Trump will postpone and prolong the inevitable collapse that I do think is going to come. I mean, I just think it's coming.
You know, I don't disagree with you. I think a collapse is coming. If they think the war comments are hyperbolic, Congress literally 2 days before I turned 26, right? I turned 26 on June 18th, passed a bill expanding the draft age.
Not only that, they did that and automatically registered everyone of that age under it.
Exactly.
Usually it's legally required for someone of that age to go and register. They just did it automatically for everyone of that, all males of that age.
Exactly. And so, maybe people could say, well, maybe they're just, kind of pumping their chest in front of the Russians or something like that. Maybe, but also these guys are sycophants and who knows what they'll do. So my closing thought is, obviously, yes, Trump did a phenomenal job. And I ask everyone, yes, go vote for the guy, because he will prolong the inevitable decay. And I think that that's a much better alternative than diving headfirst into more decay.
I mean, just last week, Ukraine struck actual Russian territory, struck Russian civilians on a beach with American-made munitions, using intelligence from America, and America gave the go-ahead. Like, they are definitely pushing for war with Russia.
To Enoch's comment, that actually would be fun. John Doyle, Nick Cavazos, ticket 2036. I'd do it. People, if anyone knows John Doyle, I'd love to interview him. He'd be a cool guy to interview.
His recent comments.
I know. I'm interested in just interviewing people. I'd at least interview them.
Why would
you guys had Pine Sap on? Come on, guys.
Yeah, except John Doyle advocated for basically eugenics.
Oh yeah, no, and I pushed back against that.
Yeah.
Why? What did he say?
He basically said, let me see if I can find him.
Nick, you got his number,
Enoch?
Yeah, Enoch, connect us up on Instagram, Enoch. Send me something to DM me.
Do you not have Enoch's phone number?
Oh no, we do. My bad. You can you can shoot me a text or DM me, either one.
All right, you guys want to do the Pope Francis' errors are causing many invalid confessions? Do you want to do?
Let's do that, because I did not read that article, and I'm very interested to see what his argument is. I'm really interested.
It's pretty far up, Rob, because we were going to do that Tuesday.
I have it.
Okay. All right.
I'll just say, like, I understand the argument here. I don't agree with the thesis that it's Francis really causing the invalid confessions, but I get what he's saying.
Okay, let's see. All right, so Pope Francis's errors are something unheard of for the Catholic Church, with the sacraments being invalidly or sacrilegiously administered under the direction of the Pope himself, causing colossal scandal and damage to souls. Pope Francis, I hate when they put that in the title and then they make you reread it.
I thought you were about to say, I hate those Italian names. I
do hate those Italians. Don Tullio Rotundo, author of the book Betrayal of Sound Doctrine through Amoris Laetitia, is raising the alarm that any attempt by a priest to grant absolution and confession without a penitent expressing sorrow for all mortal sins committed, which must be confessed, which must all be confessed, or without the penitent's firm intention to avoid sin in the future, are not valid confessions. Don Rotundo warns that Pope Francis's instructions to priests to never refuse absolution therefore runs contrary to Catholic teaching on what is required in the sacrament for actual forgiveness of sins, and is likely causing many confessions to be invalid. In a recent video, the priest said that in his book, he states that Pope Francis's errors are certainly causing many invalid confessions, that is, which do not forgive sins despite the priest administering absolution. So, okay, so in Amoris Laetitia, Francis says, even if you are if you're divorced and you haven't received an annulment, you can discern with your priest whether or not you can receive communion, even if you are still having marital relations with your new spouse. That has always been the issue. That how are you having relations with your new spouse, in quotes, because you're still married to your previous spouse. So how are you in this adulterous relationship having marital relations when you shouldn't be and still receive absolution? That was always the question.
Yeah, I'm actually curious, Rob. It sounded almost like you had a really nuanced answer, because I want to give you your chance before I give my thoughts.
So I would say Pope Francis, from the way this is worded, that's obviously that saying that is wrong, right? Because confession, absolution should not always be given. Obviously,
Yeah.
That's just what the church has always taught. But I would say that those confessions would have been invalid anyways. You know what I mean? Like,
you're saying it's not Pope Francis's fault,
right? Those people are, number one, I would argue many people who are not actually contrite for their sins probably aren't going to confession all that often anyways. But those who do, they're doing it regardless. And whether the priest gives, obviously it's a bad thing for a priest to not to tell them, hey, you have to be sorry, or whether I give you absolution or not, this confession is invalid, right? You don't receive the absolution if you're not sorry anyways. Like, the priest should be telling them that so that they learn to be contrite for their sins. But saying that Francis is causing invalid confessions.
Yeah, I could see an argument for both. I think, I guess my thoughts are, I agree with you 1000%. Pope Francis saying always forgive. He also had, you guys might remember that statement he famously said where he says he's never withheld absolution from any penitent that's ever come to the confessional. Like, that is moral theology 101 error. You have to withhold for repetitive sinners who especially don't show a sincere amendment of life for their own good. You see this in John chapter 20, when our Lord gives that power to the apostles. He says, whoever sins you forgive are forgiven, and whoever sins are retained are retained. It's not just a catchy phrase. It is an actual duty to save their soul, because if you're continuing to absolve them, they're going to dig themselves further and further into sacrilegious confessions. But I think maybe what the priest is specifically saying is he's saying that this whole moral theology push that Pope Francis has pushed destroys any notion of true contrition of sins and amendment of life. Because if everything is just a discernment, then there's no longer an objective reality of, like, I've crossed this line, I've, committed adultery, etc., and I need to go to confession. And so I guess I could see it both ways. But in either way, yes, I would say it's causing a lot of invalid confessions. And two, I would point out to people, if you go back and you watch some videos around the time of Pentecost, do you guys remember how the Vatican changed the form for the Holy Eucharist for the Pentecost liturgies at the Vatican? They switched it back to that old translation of for you and for all when it came to the consecration of the blood, which has always been doubtful. Check
That's
every
why
single...
Benedict changed it in the first place.
Exactly. And this is what's funny. The Society of St. Pius X for decades pointed out how in translations it always said for you and for all, and that was a problem, that it needs to be for you and for many. And they got, lambasted over it, you bad morad trads. Well, then Benedict, of course, swaps it back, and now it's been reversed. Pope Francis has reversed that even for some large bishops' conferences. For instance, in Italy, they've completely reversed that. And so I'm not saying it's invalid, but I'm saying that it's at least doubtful, which is already a major concern.
He also let them change the words to the Our Father in
Yes.
Italy
Yeah, the
for
Italian
lead us not
translation.
into temptation. Right now the reason I'm going to say, look, you're dealing with priests who are under the authority of the Pope, and the Pope is advising them to do this. Now, Amoris Laetitia is wishy-washy language. It's wormy, and it doesn't specifically say when that discernment can actually be held. But I don't see how.
I think this priest is talking about more recent comments from Francis, though.
Okay, so
Not
should
just
we
what's
keep
in
reading?
Amoris.
Okay. Laying out basic Catholic teaching on confession, he continued, if contrition is lacking, absolution is invalid and the sins remain unforgiven. For there to be true contrition in order to make a valid confession, a true intention not to sin and a true intention to avoid imminent occasions of sin are needed. Unfortunately, the errors of Pope Francis affect both the intention not to sin and the intention to escape the next occasions of sin, therefore determine invalid absolutions and invalid confessions, that is, which do not forgive sins. In some cases, Pope Francis has indicated or ordered priests to always absolve the penitent using negative terms for confessors who do not give absolution. This is radically contrary to Catholic doctrine and produces invalid absolutions. Admonishing fellow priests about the grave sinfulness of attempting to absolve sinners without contrition, Don Rotundo insisted, if the penitent does not have the appropriate disposition, he cannot be absolved. Any absolution is invalid. Furthermore, confessing guilt without contrition is sacrilege, an objectively very serious sin. Guiltily administering a sacramental absolution to those without contrition is sacrilege. The Italian priest further accused Pope Francis of repeatedly making statements that minimize or eliminate the need for a precise accusation of sins, which again, confession is invalid. Don Rotundo said he feared that many confessors, precisely for fear of going against the Pope and against the bishop, faithful to papal errors, avoid asking questions and denying absolution to indisposed penitents. It is to be feared that if any confessor currently asks appropriate questions in confession or denies absolution when necessary, he will be deprived due to the Pope's errors of the faculty to confess. That's a good point. Like, the priests are walking on eggshells right now, that if they make the slightest mistake and go a little too conservative, they may lose their faculties.
Mm-hmm.
All this evidently leads to invalid and sacrilegious sacraments administered to the faithful under the illusion that they are valid and effective. The priest linked these. All right, so this isn't something you and I have to generally worry about.
No,
it's not, unless you're a person in that scenario. I would say any of us. This is one of those things where it's like, okay, well, is Pope Francis like telling us to do something we shouldn't do? Where it's like, okay, are you obedient to the Pope? This is not something the general public who isn't living in that second marriage has to necessarily worry about. If you go to confession and you have a firm purpose of amendment and you are actually sorry for your sins, your sacrament is valid,
unless they ad-lib it.
Yeah, it would have to be like a butchering of the form of the priest. He just like makes some form up. This is
which you experienced.
I've experienced now multiple times, three times where I've had to correct the priest and give him the right form, which is insane.
If you don't hear the words "I absolve you," make the priest say those before you leave the confessional.
Exactly, because otherwise it's not worth it. I'd say two things. So number one, Catholic moral theology is not taught in any time of like systematic way anymore. Like it's truly a major damage, because moral theology is supposed to be like going to the doctor. When you go to the confessional, it is not just absolving you. It's not just a legal court, which is true, but it's also a moral doctor taking care of your soul. And because there's no real good form of training in that, you have major issues. But two, do you both know the name Bernard Herring? People in the chat, do you guys know the name Bernard Herring? So this is a big red pill moment for you guys. Go check out Bernard Herring. Pope Francis, if you go and check out his statements on moral theology, he criticizes what he calls casuistry. Casuistry was a school of thought, particularly in the Jesuits, of moral theology. Basically what it was is it was like the 10 Commandments. How did you violate the 10 Commandments, and what would be good penances for you to do? It's basically moral theology 101 in a traditional sense. Bernard Herring, though, was a heretic in the 1930s, he was part of the broader New Theology movement who denied the teaching on contraception, denied the teaching on homosexuality, and he is the one that Pope Francis has credited multiple times with getting his moral theology from. And he is the one who opined what is called the discernment moral theology. So go check out his moral theology, and all of a sudden you'll see that morals should be you, the priest, and God discerning. And it all makes sense.
Yeah, so then they could start bending rules, and they could start saying, but they're always trying to like reduce the culpability of the sinner in every circumstance. Like that's always what they're trying to do. They're always trying to reduce the culpability of the sinner to in every scenario. That's even with the Amoris Laetitia, everything. They're always just trying to find these unbelievably rare circumstances where the culpability of the sinner might not be a mortal sin. And it just kind of blurs the lines of right and wrong completely. It's one of those things that if you understand that's what they're trying to do, you kind of understand everything Francis is doing. All of this, this false sense of mercy, this, this total dilution of everything we know to be right and wrong as Catholics.
And it's scary because it's like, you have essentially like terminal cancer, but in the soul, and the priest just continues to affirm that everything's fine.
Yeah.
Or he's giving you, or he's like, okay, well, you're suffering from terminal cancer. I know what a good penance will be. Have some cough drops. That'll take care of it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there's something about receiving absolution in Latin that is so amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like as you're saying the act of contrition, the priest is praying absolution for you as you're saying it. It's like you start your act of contrition, and the priest just starts rambling in Latin, and it's like, and then when you hear the words of absolution as you're finished with it, I don't know, there's something powerful about it. If you guys have never heard if you guys have never been to a priest who offers it in Latin, it's really an awesome thing. I've only had it at Holy Innocents in Manhattan and the SSPX is the only two places I've ever had it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever checked it out. So like the form for confession in the Old and the Rite is like the actual necessary form is the same thing, but broadly speaking, in the Old Rite, it has so many more prayers, and it not only invokes like the passion blood of our Lord, the intercession of Mary in it, but also it removes all suspensions, excommunications, which is so important because it's like I kind of surprised I didn't even bring this up tonight. Biden obviously is not Catholic. And he's excommunicated by virtue of his own heresy and by virtue of his own schism, et cetera, et cetera. But these excommunications, right, are removed in the sacrament of penance when rightly received. But whenever people aren't ever using that term anymore, when post-council we're like, yeah, we've done away with the Council of Trent, we've done away with all the anathemization, and somehow, like Rupnik is still a priest in quote good standings, etc.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I've seen a lot of. I threw an article by Joseph Shaw in there, Rob. I don't know if you're going to be able to open it because when I went to open it right from there, I couldn't get it to open. I had to actually go to Joseph Shaw's Twitter account to get it. But there were people that were celebrating this new document coming out. Yeah, this one. So there's people that are celebrating the new document that's coming out and saying, well, don't worry about it because the new document, if it comes out, Traditionis Custodes is actually calling for more reverent Novus Ordos. So Joseph Shaw wrote, a number of American writers claim that Traditionis Custodes should spur priests to make their celebration of Mass more reflective of the liturgical tradition. Other commentators, including a number of bishops implementing it, apparently think the opposite. Those in favor of the first interpretation can cite a couple of passages from the letter to the bishops, which accompanied TC. Pope Francis quotes Benedict complaining about liturgical abuses, unbearable distortions. Later, he remarks, whoever wishes to celebrate with devotion according to earlier forms of the liturgy can find in the Reformed Roman Missal, according to the Vatican Council II, all the elements of the Roman Rite, in particular, the Roman canon, which constitutes one of its most distinctive elements. Roman canon being Eucharistic prayer, one in the Reformed Missal. The two most influential American blogs defending TC, Pray Tell and Where Peter Is, have accordingly taken this line. Father Anthony Ruff of Pray Tell writes, the goal is that the entire Roman Rite celebrates the liturgy of Vatican II in all the spiritual profundity and sacrality, which remains to be discovered in the 1970 Missal, so that there is less reason for people to seek out the 1962. So this is where he starts going, yeah, complete BS. Terence Sweeney on Where Peter Is calls for more celebrations of the Novus Ordo in Latin with proper liturgical garments, fully celebrated liturgies, processions, and yes, smells and bells, celebration that is richly traditional. It's just totally preposterous, but by contrast, the bishops who have been most prominent in implementing TC are not encouraging their priests to make their celebrations of Mass any closer to the spirit of the traditional Mass. Quite the contrary. The Bishops' Conference of Costa Rica, for example, in what seems like an inversion of Pope Francis's words about continuity, quoted, warn against any element coming from the ancient form. One bishop has actually suspended a priest for celebrating the Novus Ordo in Latin. So celebrating the Novus Ordo in Latin gets you suspended. One American diocese in Illinois, whose vicar, Monsignor Eric Barr, has written defending TC, banned priests from celebrating facing east, which is ad orientem, obviously. The French bishops, whose report on the spread of the traditional Mass in their diocese became public early this year, felt that when elements are introduced into the ordinary form, they are more sources of tensions than enrichment. What sort of elements did they have in mind? The use of old vestments, the use of black as a liturgical color, the adding of the sign of the cross, veiling of statues and passiontide, blessing of the water at the offertory, the sacring bell, communion plates. So the paten is considered too traditional.
These guys are just neo-modernists. 1 billion%. And I'm sorry to be the quote rad trad. I'll be the rad trad. I'll get all the blame for it. These guys are neo-modernists. How do you claim to hold the deposit of faith as it was always held and understood, the same faith that Pius X held, the same faith that St. Thomas Aquinas held, and come out and say, yeah, statues and patents, they get in the way. You are out of your mind. And when they continue to perpetuate, I'm glad that Murray brought it up in the chat. When they continue to perpetuate lies that have been debunked, like Eucharistic Prayer 1 is the Roman canon. No, it's not. Do a basic comparison. It is a gutting of the Roman canon. Mm-hmm. Plus, the Roman canon literally means a fixed rite, and it's no longer fixed. When you see this lie of we'll just say it in Latin and everything will be fine, or the BS of we have to discover the greater enrichments that it has in store for us. Goodness gracious. You guys sound like Joe Biden saying he's going to get the job done. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And it's being debunked.
Yeah, you have to understand, you can't have a guy like Joe Biden claim to be Catholic if you have the traditional liturgy.
Exactly.
Like as the main liturgy. The only way you get the Joe Bidens is through this desensitization of the Catholic sensibility. Religion. It's just that's what they have to do. They have to desensitize all of us so that when we see these things, we're just numb to it. And it's like, oh, well, you really think the only problem with Joe Biden is that he supports abortion? Like, you think that's what nullifies his Catholicity? That's not what nullifies his Catholicity. First of all, the LGBT stuff is, I'm hesitant to say more, but I almost think it kills more souls than abortion does. Like, you have to think about the amount of people that if you're supporting this ideology, you are just ripping. I understand that maybe it's not a sin that cries out to heaven the same way, but I'm just talking about the damage that it does to souls, that anybody that could support anything like that is destructive to the sacrament of marriage the way it is something so horrific. That's it. I feel like we focus so much on the one issue of babies, which is it's a sin that cries out to heaven, but the other issue is almost as bad.
Yeah,
the amount of souls being lost to that is catastrophic.
So I think of three things. So to Sean's comment in the chat, he said like Europe has had worse than Biden for centuries. And I don't know fully what he's meaning, but if he's meaning like you know, the TLM was around for centuries and we had worser kings or leaders, etc. I would agree we had worse, but here's the thing. The popes condemned them. The popes excommunicated them. They were open about it. Our pope says, quote, Joe Biden is a good Catholic.
Yeah.
Second, to, I think it was Michael's comment. He's like, did Christ speak in Latin? I got this quote so many times in one of my last
and
videos.
it's so brain dead.
It's so,
Wait a
it's
minute. First
no
off,
offense.
you guys don't think that the Sermon on the Mount was in Latin? What are you kidding me?
Bro, it was in
course
Latin and it's got in 4K.
Of course it was.
Like it's there.
He-
With all due respect, Michael, because Michaels right now are known for their nuance and their charity. You need to go and read any basic catechism, right? Any basic catechism, and it will explain why Latin is used in the liturgy. So I'll have that as just do that as your homework.
Plus, Christ probably used Hebrew for that, right? They spoke Aramaic daily, but he most likely used his liturgical language, which was Hebrew. So it would be the same concept as
Saint
us using
Joseph was
Latin.
Italian. So if you think Jesus didn't speak Italian, I don't know what planet you guys
Yes,
are
Saint Joseph, the man known for being quiet, was Italian. Are you kidding me?
100%. Saint Joseph's Italian. I won't hear otherwise.
Okay, so really controversial point, but I'll make it. So to your point, Anthony, on like sins that cry to heaven. Okay, here's one point that I heard a society priest say. Kennedy can back me up on this. Religious liberty, though, actually is a greater sin than abortion. You know why, though? And people are going to freak out on me. Both are sins, so please don't hear me try to downplay abortion. But it more directly attacks the first commandment and the honor and dignity of God being the one divinity, right? The one being worthy of all worship, by now saying any gods can be worshipped up to your own personal conscience. That is
idolatry. It's essentially idolatry, right?
Yes, exactly. Like Kennedy said, spiritual genocide, 1000%. And you see every single bishops' conference, every single year promote religious liberty. Of course, Vatican II promoted religious liberty in the face of all of the preconciliar popes who condemned that thesis. So yeah, we have to realize
Francis just had a comment this week about it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Obamacare was coming down the pike and they were talking about how they were going to make religious sisters have to pay for birth control, all this stuff, and all the bishops came out, and instead of actually preaching on the morality of birth control and actually discussing like what is it that's wrong with birth control, they just went religious liberty. That was it. That was what we need to support religious liberty, because if people are bothered in their conscience about something, you can't force them to do it. It's like, why would anybody be bothered in their conscience about something you never taught them?
Yeah.
They just completely abandoned their roles as teachers.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I was Protestant at the time, and I remember seeing that because we would always growing up Protestant, homeschooled in the South, and as Caucasian, you're probably Republican. And so we were like, yo, Obamacare, horrible, right? And it is horrible. But that was our argument. You can't force this on these little nuns because they can practice according to their own religious conscience. But that's not the Catholic teaching. It is, I saw in the comment, error has no rights. You cannot put Christ on the same level as Buddha or Krishna or anything. That is an abomination.
What confession episode did we plan? We could do one with Father Nick's. That would probably be, I think maybe that's what we were.
I think Andrew's behind, because I saw about 20 minutes into the show, he commented about something we had said at the very beginning. So I don't think he's gotten to the part where we started talking about confession.
Okay. Yeah, so that Joseph Shaw article I thought was interesting. Then we have, let's see, what were some of the good ones?
Well, we have the lady talking about Nick.
Oh,
is that a long clip, Nick?
It's a few minutes.
It's not. It's like it's a few minutes.
It's like 2 minutes.
I will forewarn you, if you watch it, she swears a few times, but actually it's the swearing that makes it funny. It's pretty hilarious.
I think it's funny how she calls you a Thomist, not a Thomist.
I know.
Thomist.
Yeah.
All right. So now, will we get a copyright strike for playing her YouTube channel though?
No, she's not monetized.
Okay.
No,
let's play it.
If she was monetized, she could say something, but.
All right, so this woman. All right, so give us a little backstory, Nick. What is this?
Yeah, so the other day I had a friend who messaged me. He was just like, "Bro, you got a big fan out there." So I clicked on this video, and it's this lady with like 300 subscribers who apparently is just making YouTube videos about everybody else and attacking them. And it's this lady up in Boston. She has a thick Boston accent, and she's talking about how I'm this grifter trying to make money on being a Protestant who hates the Catholic Church.
Oh, I love it. So she's probably from the trad recovery world, right?
Well, she'd be a good stand-in for them, that's for sure. She's definitely in that line. Yeah, is she single, Sean? As I said in the chat, finally a woman is paying attention to me. I'm so happy.
Where'd Rob go?
Sorry, just said I had to turn my lights on.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Yeah, let's
ready?
do it. Let's see this broad.
Hi there, Renee. I say of Lowell, Massachusetts. I'm on street, and I'm going to be calling out the Thomas tradition here. He's in my feed. I've been calling out these self-identifying traditional Catholics who spread misinformation about the Catholic Church. Here in the Archdiocese, so first off, he just saw a video on my feed 8 hours ago with this negative comment proclaiming that Pope Francis is going to ban the Latin Mass, also known as the Extraordinary Form, and that we must prepare for the storm. First off, here in the Archdiocese of Boston, we have a parish that is dedicated to the Extraordinary Form. It's a 2-form parish, and I actually know the priest there. We also celebrate the Extraordinary Form at the Archdiocese of Boston. The diocese right north of me, a few miles of me, is Diocese of Manchester. They have the Extraordinary Form
Manchester?
as well in their parishes. You just go on their website, and they list where the Extraordinary Form of Mass is.
Oh no, they can't do
Isn't
that.
amazing?
That's not good.
So these guys who self-identify as traditional Catholics, because there's no such thing as traditional Catholics, are either very, very confused, completely down the road confused, or they're bullshitting you. The traditional Thomas, he has a Patreon account. He probably has a monetized YouTube channel, and he literally gets off making anti-Catholic videos. I am so sick of these self-identifying traditional Catholics who all they do is make anti-Pope, anti-Catholic videos. There's one thing if you were actually a Protestant, guys, but the Protestants don't spend all their day hating
All right, can you
Catholic
pause it for a
Church
second?
or hating Pope Francis.
I talked about this the other day. When I first had my conversion, I would go on Peter Diamond's videos, like the Diamond Brothers videos, and I would argue with them. And I'd be like, are you guys even Catholic? I don't understand any of this stuff. So I think she thinks you're like a sedevacantist.
I don't think she knows anything.
Yeah,
about
I
anything.
don't think she gets that there's like any kind of nuance there. I think everybody should go subscribe to her channel and just leave a ton of comments on this video.
Hold on, let me find.
Bring her channel up. Everybody subscribe to her, and everybody just flood her with comments. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah, just go find
Ordinary
that video.
Catholic.
At Ordinary Catholic 1.
All right, let's see. Ordinary.
But hold on, if we're gonna do this, don't be dicks, guys.
No. Yeah.
Don't be dicks.
Just go give me some love in the video.
What should we do? Let's do something very gentle but like funny. Like it's got to be something gentle and funny. Like she can't.
I want everyone to be encouraging and say yes. You go after them, crypto.
Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. Let's go. Like go the altar. Just be like, I just came across your video. This is amazing. You go, girl. Make more videos like this.
Yeah.
Everybody encourage her.
That or just spam her in the comment section with stuff like Nick is handsome. Why are you attacking him? That'd be.
Wait a minute. Response to traditional Catholics concerned about my. Oh man, she's got new videos.
She's got all kinds of stuff. She has Taylor Marshall videos. She got, I think probably Kennedy. If you're in the chat, I think she probably has one on you. So if you can go look it up, you could throw it up on your show.
I'm gonna leave a comment. I'm gonna say this is so funny.
Modern Papers has a point. Encouraging her. Well, it's not necessarily being mean. It's probably not good to encourage a crazy person.
Look,
everyone just go and spam what Prayers and Porsches is saying. Like, why are you hitting on Nick Cavazos? That would just be funny. Just go and say why are you hitting on him.
I'm going to tell her.
You know, it would be funny. Everyone sub so that she gets monetized and is a grifter herself.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say you are doing the Lord's work, sister. Keep at it.
Bro, I can't wait for you guys to get an episode.
Why do you think we're doing this?
Exactly. Please, if you're out there, Miss Ordinary Catholic, please make a video on avoiding Babel.
Okay, so you were doing the Lord's work, sister. Keep those trads' feet to the fire.
Are you doing it from your account or the Avoiding Babel
My
account?
account.
Everyone's
left the
spamming
first
in the chat,
comment on
Michaela
everybody.
Lofton. Michaela Lofton.
Okay, Modern Papist says he's within 100 view hours of monetization. So everyone, go watch at least
for
one
sure.
of his videos.
Yeah, for
go
sure.
get him
for sure.
monetized.
How many hours do you need monetize?
1,000,
4,000.
I think. Yeah.
Is it 1,000 or 4,000? I forget.
Oh my,
4,000.
It's 4,000.
You need 1,000 subs and 4,000 view hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got news for you, Modern Papist. It's not much money.
No,
Yeah,
it's really not,
change.
it's really not much money, dude. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I know. People still talking about did Biden win the debate? I'm in the UK.
Well, speaking of like Biden, but I'm also attaching it to these things. Do you want to throw up your comparison of a Senor Harry Sesson up on the chat from your Twitter account?
Yeah.
Yes,
that was so funny. Let's talk about that. The fact that we all thought that independently was too good.
Michael Lofton is the Harry Sisson of Catholicism. Twitter does actually pay better, but you have to like really hammer away on Twitter to make money.
You have to be annoying about it. Right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, and you have to engagement farm. And I know a lot of people like don't like my Twitter anymore because I engagement farm. It's like I don't. It's.
I cringed so hard when I saw that. The
5,000 likes, but you have to understand why I did that. Somebody put a tweet up that said, "Can we get 5,000? I support Israel." 5,000 tweets for I support Israel. I was like, ew. I was like, can we just get 5,000 people say Mary is Queen of Heaven and Earth?
That's funny.
I got news for you. It's got like 200,000 freaking impressions right now. Forgive me, guys. Please don't judge me by my Twitter. This is the real me over here, guys. That Twitter guy is annoying. My alter ego.
The real me can be found in Ordinary Catholics chat comment section.
All right, wait. What other stories we got? Do you want to finish that video or?
We
don't have
I mean, we don't have to. It's pretty funny. People go give her some love. Just be like, why are you hitting on me? That'd be funny.
Okay. We have.
So we have
the apparition story.
Oh
yeah. I didn't know about this story, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. So okay. So you got it up, Rob?
Yep.
Okay. Vatican rules supposed apparitions of the Virgin Mary near Rome not supernatural. The events reportedly began after a couple brought back an image of Our Lady of Peace from Medjugorje in 2014. Right off the bat, we got issues. The Vatican Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith announced Thursday that alleged apparitions of the Virgin Mary outside of Rome are not supernatural, upholding a local bishop's ban on masses and pilgrimages to the site. Is this the same one?
So yeah, we talked about it when the bishop decreed that it was not supernatural, and that was about the same time they were changing the norms on apparitions. So that's when we talked about it the first time, and now it seems like the DDF has just said, yes, that decree from the bishop is not that the DDF isn't claiming it's not supernatural. The DDF is just saying that the bishop decreeing it is legit.
Okay, so now this woman was claiming to have visions once a month. When they tested the blood on this bleeding statue, they found it was pig's blood one time, another time it was her blood. She was giving messages. This is why, like, we've had these, like even Kennedy's been talking about that Father Michel Rodrigue, and he's been popping up. I see like Doug Barry has him on. I see like he's popping up. I think Joel McLean had him on. It's like, guys, this guy has been proven to have shady things that he said that do not come true. I mean, he's predicted dates on things that have just not come true, and everybody just keeps trying to resurrect this guy. Oh, he's got a new message and he's got a new thing coming out. And it's like, how many times does a person have to be wrong before you just say, okay, I'm not going to fall for this anymore?
Well, what's wild is, like, again, because I know this is predominantly Catholic chat, but do you guys know, like, the Deuteronomy 18 test for false prophets?
No.
What it was in the Old Testament. So in the Old
I know
Testament,
it's a Catholic channel. You guys don't read your Bible.
exactly. In the Old Testament, if a person was to make a prediction, right, from claiming it from God, right, thus saith the Lord, X, Y, Z is going to happen, and it didn't happen, he was stoned with stones. That's the litmus test. And so when our Lord says, beware of false prophets, again, I'm not calling this individual a false prophet per se. I don't know a ton about him. But what I can say is that, yeah, if you're running around giving a ton of predictions, or in this lady's case, like cutting yourself to put blood up there, you're talking to a spirit, but it ain't the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't realize it's not always just people conning. Like, there really is possibly spirits going on here. It's not just, oh, this isn't supernatural. It might be preternatural. And there's something going on that is dark inside of her. Like, this woman may need an exorcism. It shouldn't be the bishop shouldn't just be going, no, this isn't supernatural. You should be looking in to see, like, what is really going on here that this woman's doing this kind of stuff.
Ordinary Catholic's not going to like that, Nick.
1,000% serious on that. 1,000%.
How about for adultery? Can we bring stoning back for that too?
Do you know, we would have to stone our entire political class.
Right.
Let's just put it this way. If you guys want my real serious opinions on all of those four said questions, we need to have a local section, because I'll definitely give you some spicy tips. Some spicy
There was also a court in Belgium. A court finds Belgian cardinal and archbishop for denying a woman admission to the diaconate. So this is, when you get into some of the places in Europe. So a Belgian civil court has fined 2 Catholic prelates after they denied a woman entry into the diaconate formation program. According to the Belgian newspaper, the woman, I'm not going to even attempt it, asked the Archdiocese of Brussels to register for training as a deacon in 2023 and again in October 2023. In June 2023 and October. Whatever her last name is, made her first request to Cardinal Joseph de Kessel and her second to whatever. And both times her request to join. I'm not going to attempt Belgian last names, guys. It's not happening. You guys get on my case for my English. I'm not going to attempt Swiss or whatever this is. The request to join the 4-year diaconal training program. Really? Is it Belgian as a language?
Flemish.
I'm going to know that. Come on. The 2 prelates will have to pay 1,500 euros, $1,600 each. The court ordered. The court in Mechelen ruled that the archbishops made a mistake when refusing her entry to the program, but did not address the question of actually ordaining her. According to De Morgan, the court cannot overturn the archbishop's refusal or decide in his place who will be admitted to deacon training. So the church is the ones who have the sole authority to actually admit someone to the diaconate, but for the diaconate training, they're being fined 1,500 euros each. Now, the bishop and the cardinal haven't decided if they're going to contest this court case. They may just pay the 1,500 and say, leave us alone.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. Oh, we have Patrick Coffin. I think we're going to save the Vigano stuff for when Patrick comes on Tuesday. Nick, you going to jump on with us for that one? We're going to discuss Vigano.
I was wrong. It's not
probably if we discuss Vigano, because I don't know. I think Patrick doesn't like me very much because I'm a big SSPXer. Anthony's just like, okay, do I get ratings or do I try to be nice? What can I do?
All right, let's not, because me and Patrick are going to talk about Advent in Italy, but we're going to talk. We'll probably talk Vigano. We'll also talk whatever else is going on. But
July, we're talking about Advent.
Advent in Italy.
What is this? Christmas in July?
It's going to be Advent in Italy. We're doing. So we
got.
We
I
got
will always come on. I will always come on, but like if he gets on there and we're talking about Vigano, he's just like, he's like those schismatic SSPXers. I'm going to say something.
He's going to defend Vigano.
Yeah,
Because
I know. But
Patrick,
the thing
yeah.
is, he could be like Vigano, man. Like he's in the church. Those SSPXers, man. He's the one who they're gonna try to paint him with because they're outside the church and he's not. And I'm gonna be like,
I'll tell
bro,
you what Patrick's main
throw down
issues
right
with
now.
the society is. What I think his main issue with the society is that they insist that Francis is a valid pope.
That and he was also a huge JP2 fan and Benedict
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
So he's not really like Coffin is not a traditionalist, if you will.
No. I mean, he appreciates the Latin Mass and things like that, but he's not a trad. But I think his biggest issue with them at this point, he's like, they're just so insistent that he's a valid pope. It's like, because the society actually does that, like they do say Francis is a valid pope. You know, they've claimed that there's been issues since the council, but the popes have all been valid.
Exactly. They're kind of the go-to people actually if you're wanting to debate sedes. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like Sean's comment, Novus Ordo set of accountism. To a point, you're not wrong. To a point, it is.
I was talking to Joe Boca today about what we're going to do if TC kicks in. This new thing kicks in.
Yeah.
And I obviously have a society chapel near me, and then I have a Byzantine liturgy about 10 minutes from me, and then another Byzantine liturgy about 20 minutes from me. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might rotate, because Joe will rotate. Joe will go society and then the Byzantine, society and then Byzantine, whatever works.
If you,
best
as an Italian, or Sicilian, not really Italian, go to a Byzantine liturgy, what's his name is going to be all over you.
I know Sicilianus is going to kill me.
Sicilianus is going to be all
he's
over
gonna
you.
kill me, man. And
Traditionally,
Sicily was rather influenced by the Byzantines.
Was it really?
What were you going to say, man?
Yeah. Sicily was under control of the Byzantine Empire until the Normans invaded.
That's fair. I was going to say traditionally, at least according to like moral theology, you have to have like a pretty grave reason to switch to right, to the point that they actually said that if you didn't have, like, let's say a Roman Rite around you, and you were a Roman Rite Catholic, but you only had Byzantine Catholics around you, you were actually dispensed from Sunday obligation because they thought this would be just too weird for you. It'd be too weird for you. That's stuff that people don't want to know.
I kind of think that's accurate.
It is.
Right. Not I kind of think it's accurate. I mean it. I don't mean what the church said. I mean, it would be too alien for me to go there.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like, I think I need to, I just gotta, the thing is, I'll definitely,
bro.
I'll definitely go to the society. I don't know if I'll ever be a society guy though. You know what I mean, right? Like, you know the difference, right? Like I would be going to the society because I love the liturgy. I don't know if I'd ever be like a hardcore society guy where like you or Kennedy.
Yeah, it's okay. We all can't be perfect. No,
I just don't. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I should start with reading the biography of Lefebvre.
Do that, dude. Yeah.
Before that, start with open letter to
confused Catholics.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Everyone, if you guys,
it's a collection of letters written by Lefebvre.
Plus, if you're inclined to listen to stuff, Anthony, which I think you've told me you are, it's online for free on their YouTube account, like an audio version of it. It's pretty good dramatized version of it. Everyone, if you guys have not read that book, Open a Letter to Confused Catholics, you can find it for free online. You can find the audiobook as well. So you can find it for free on the if you look up SSPX Open Letter to Confused Catholics PDF, you'll find it on the old SSPX Asia Districts website in English for free. You can also find the audiobook on YouTube on the SSPX podcast. You can find it free, and that also applies to Spotify, Apple Music, and all of that. But go get the book. Go read the book. It sounds like it's written for today because it is written for today.
So I don't know if I'm going to lose it. Yeah, I typically go to a diocesan TLM. That's typically what I do. And mainly, like, I would probably go to the society. My kids like the diocesan one much better. Like I'm sure it's a prettier parish. What was that?
I was like, I'm sure it's definitely a prettier parish.
Oh, it's beautiful. Like the liturgy's beautiful. The music is beautiful. There's a lot of like younger kids there. It's my wife and children love the diocesan Latin mass that we go to. They do. There's two of them that we go to. One of them they love more than the other, but it's further. But it would be a tricky thing for me to go Byzantine. I think. I don't know. I might just tell them, guys, suck it up. This is what we're doing. I don't know
plus Italians and Greeks. Have you ever seen them get along? It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anthony after mass will be like, "You guys got any gyros around?" They will just lynch him, straight up lynch him.
That's so true.
Look, if I can get along with my German wife, there's no nationality I can't get along with. Okay.
Bro, you got a German wife and you're Italian. There's a little Third Reich stuff going on there.
Yeah, my wife's half Italian, half German.
That's funny. Can I answer? So super sad 64. He sent you guys a question. This is a good question, actually, just in general for everyone. Yes, Rome has explicitly said on 7 occasions that you can not only fulfill your Sunday obligation at the SSPX, but that also you can do so without, quote, any canonical penalties or sin. So there's literally no problem.
You can donate to the parish and not feel like you're doing something, like you're allowed to give money to the chapel.
Exactly. So let me just say this. Any YouTuber or commentator or whatever who says you can't go to the SSPX, must schismatic, or doesn't fulfill your Sunday obligation, they are just a talking head. Rome has already said this issue. Just ignore them.
I will tell you this. I believe what the church actually says on it, that there are some people that can go to the SSPX who have a schismatic attitude, who think the SSPX is the true church. To me, that's more like a sedevacantist attitude. Like there are sedes that go to an SSPX chapel. You can be one of those people, or you can just be somebody who goes to the SSPX because you love the liturgy, or, because you think there are some, things that need to be.
I would just say you could say the exact same things about most Novus Ordos.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. I know you would agree with that, but
yeah, definitely. There are some Novus Ordo parishes you're going to go to where they don't follow anything in communion with the church. I mean, you're going to tell me you're better off going to a parish that has pride flags than an SSPX chapel? I'll fight you on that one. There's not a chance.
Or just even like a lot of these parishes where it's like, again, I've been to 3 parishes where they just made up the form for confession. It's like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm using that extreme example. You don't even need that extreme example. There are so many different things that could happen at a typical Novus Ordo parish that you could just feel completely uncomfortable with, that you think it'll damage the faith of your children. Like if you think your children's faith could be damaged from it, you shouldn't go there.
Exactly. Super sad, or super sad 64. If you want a good article to look up Catholic Family News's SSPX Sunday obligation. Look up that, because a gentleman who has a master's degree in theology did a study. He put every single statement Rome has ever said about the SSPX into one long study. And there you go. You have every single statement right there. So go check that out.
Rob,
Catholic
why
Family
don't we
News.
give Nick the login so that he can highlight any comments he wants?
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, we're going to give you your own login. So go to Catholic Family News and you'll find an article about attending the SSPX.
Exactly. It's great.
Yeah, I'm not going to take my kids to a parish where, I mean, and I catechize my kids pretty well, but I'm not going to take them somewhere where just the experience of it is going to desensitize them to what the Eucharist is, to what is actually going on, that the Mass itself is supposed to be a sacrifice, because you lose that sense at a typical Novus Ordo that what we're doing there is actually the sacrifice of the Son to the Father, And look, I don't Plus, everybody has to do this on their own, and I'm not judging anybody that comes to a different conclusion.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool right there.
Yeah, nice. Mr. C wrote it. Nice.
Do you both remember back in March that my diocesan TLM got canceled, right? You guys remember that? Okay, so I was at the cathedral in Austin. If people look it up on Google Images, beautiful, historic 1850s style Gothic cathedral, absolutely great. Right, got canceled. We had over 800 parishioners that went to both of the TLMs. Got canceled. Most of those people are now going to Mass in a hotel room because of their faith and devotion to God and to the traditional faith. The next diocesan TLM, right, is looking like it's going to get canceled. And guess what? Everyone I've talked to, they said they're going to the hotel. We're going to have 700 plus people in a hotel room who are missing out
You
on
must mean
two
like a
things. One,
conference room, right? A hotel conference
yeah, in a
room.
conference room. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, large conference room at a hotel. Yeah, they're not going to a Gothic cathedral or even a normal parish. And then two, we were given a quote Latin Novus Ordo. No one goes to it anymore. I had a friend who actually went there a few weeks ago. He said out of the like 500 people that would typically be there, 80 at max, and all of them are new and they're wearing like flip flops and shorts. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. And this is my whole point. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, Rome does not understand the traditionalist argument. They are being willfully ignorant because the synodal, listening church has selective hearing. It does not want to hear it.
Well, okay, so Ravello's saying, why would I go to an SSPX and not just a normal TLM? I mean, if you're not, I don't know if you're not actually listening to what we're saying. I do go to a diocesan TLM. I'm saying if that gets taken away, my options are either I go Byzantine or I go to the SSPX. Now, what Nick's saying is so if they cancel our diocesan and they tell us we can't do it in the parishes anymore, if they offer it in a basement at a hotel somewhere and it's the same priest, I'll go do that. And what'll happen is we'll wind up raising enough money to buy a parish building, not a parish building. We'll buy something. We'll buy a chapel, and then it'll be our diocesan priest will come. What?
They won't allow it.
Well,
they don't allow establishing.
It wouldn't have anything to do with the diocese. We would buy our own chapel, and then we would have a visiting priest come. Hopefully.
So yeah, and to what was it, Revelo's point? Why would I go to an SSPX and not a normal TLM? And then I think he follows it up with under the bishop. So first and foremost, you have to understand that the SSPX is not under, quote, the direct coverage in the sense of the micromanaging of the bishop, but they are under the bishop. And over 1,200 dioceses work with the SSPX. Famously, the Argentinian, if you go to the Argentinian website, Argentinian Bishops Conference, they have the SSPX listed under Catholic organizations.
Well, especially for marriages and stuff. They have to work with the bishop for marriages and things like that. So
exactly. But chiefly the reason why I recommend people all the time on my show go to the SSPX is because the issue in the crisis, we talked about this on the Trad Roundtable, it's not about primarily the liturgy. The liturgy is the day-to-day manifestation of the problem. It's doctrinal. We don't want to fall into the habit of, if it's just a Latin Mass, it's good enough for me, because that Latin Mass priest may believe in a whole bunch of bad things and might be, teaching something just because the bishop requires it. We have to recognize religious liberty, ecumenism, collegiality, this new ecclesiology, neo-modernism, indifferentism. That is the core, and the new Mass is just the day-to-day contact with that said system.
Okay, so Matt's saying no diocesan priest would ever do that. You don't know what you're talking about, because my I hate saying this stuff. My bishop, ever since TC came out, just turned, he's like, didn't say nothing, right? So my bishop may follow the orders of Francis and say, hey guys, we got to shut this down at the parish level, and then turn a blind eye to if the priest comes and does some visiting. Like I think the majority of bishops that allow it in their diocese now, since TC came out, generally love the parishioners that go to these things, don't want to shut it down. They may have their hand forced and be told they have to do it. And then if look, it's not going on at my parish. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. There's a Catholic social club. A priest goes and ministers to them. What do I know?
Classic,
and the priest will
Italian exactly.
Mafia. It's like, look, Bishop, we're just having the priest come and come to our club. It's a Catholic club.
It's a Catholic club.
How is that not obedience? I don't understand it. We're following. Ooh, sorry, Rob, you get it. How is that disobedient? Francis says he doesn't want it in the parishes at diocesan parishes. It won't be.
That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, no, but I mean, obedience to what end though? Obedience is a virtue which is supposed to help propel you into keeping the traditional faith and keeping the deposit of faith. And so if a bishop is to come out and say, hey, the Mass in which all your ancestors worshipped is now banned, which is, again, the Mass is part of the big T tradition according to every theology manual, then what you're basically saying in an alternate universe is if a bishop was to come out and say, no more reading of the Bible. In fact, we're actually just going to get rid of whole books because, hey, we can. Why not? It's the equivalent of the same thing to a degree. And so people have to realize that obedience has a purpose. It's supposed to unite you with Christ. It's supposed to unite you with the deposit of faith. It's not a false obedience of micromanaging and do whatever you want. If people want to go check out a video on that, I made a really long video, but really good video called "The Limits of Papal Infallibility" on my show. Go check it out. As the thumbnail says, "Is Vatican II infallible?" etc. It gives you a good detail of this discussion.
Do I have a mic under my shirt? Why am I loud? Is that why he's asking
No,
that?
no, because you're snitching.
Oh, no.
snitching.
Well, I'm snitching on myself. Well, the good thing about having a show that's small like ours, especially 2 hours into a stream, who the heck's hearing this, you know? We're lucky to get
Except for that, except
over
for that
1,000
Catholic
people
lady.
so far, apparently.
The ordinary Catholic lady, she will return and she will make a video on you.
That's what
Trust
she's
me.
not gonna. She's gonna listen 2 hours in. Come on.
Yeah, it seems
Michaela
like she probably
Lofton will
doesn't
do
have
what
much
she
more.
needs to do.
And the other thing is, we coded this whole show with the first hour being politics. Nobody's even gonna think anything happened in this show. We're gonna chop this up. We'll chop this up into 2 separate shows. Yeah, see,
You guys
1,000
gotta-
views and only 80 likes. What the heck?
there's 247 people watching on YouTube right now. So please hit like. Please subscribe.
Everyone
if you
go like.
Do you think there's people that watch us regularly and haven't subscribed yet?
Oh, 1,000.
Half of our audience, according to the analytics.
You guys are a bunch of bums. Bunch of bums, man.
So you two send me the clip when you chop the clips up of ordinary Catholic lady. I'll put it on my show.
Okay.
I'll put it on my show and
hey,
see
while
what
we
she
got a big
says.
audience. While we got a big audience, Rob's wearing a shirt that says, "Have you accepted Mary as your personal mother and intercessor?" Very nice shirt. You guys should get that. We do have Avoiding Babylon drip. Peep the drip. Go buy some of our stuff. Help support the show.
I need to actually get a shirt.
Streaming. I actually, you know what it is?
Nick, I will send you a shirt for free. So just let me
Hey,
know.
Yeah, for sure,
Let's go. Let's go.
Nick, Rob, you buy Nick's. I have to buy one for Josh. So you buy one for Nick. I'll buy one for Josh,
Okay.
and we'll do
Like the
that.
first time people have ever seen me in a T-shirt.
And
Funny.
don't actually,
No, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, me and you will work that out.
because then we're just paying ourselves.
Yeah, it's stupid. Let's see. Yeah, the good thing about doing a Friday night show.
So
The
true.
good thing about
bro.
doing a Friday night show is I don't have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning tomorrow, so I'm not like stressing what time it is right now. You know,
I know. You finished the moat? Is it all dug?
it's all dug. Whole moat's
Good.
done. I'm getting alligators now.
Our
I'm enjoying
whole
this
state
thoroughly,
is
and
a
I'm
moat
not
at
even
this
Roman
point.
Catholic. Vatican politics is like some weird labyrinth that reeks of gold and garlic.
That's so funny.
Is that because of the vampires or the Italians?
Well, you know
So-
what? I think that we're generally like if you have someone who's like kind of getting interested in Catholicism, the thing is I don't like the shows where we're doing church politics. That's not necessarily a good show to introduce them to, but when we're just kind of like shooting the crap about theology, those are the best shows to turn somebody on to because we're not we're easily
Whoa, whoa,
accessible.
whoa,
I think
whoa,
that's
Wait, like right now?
no
The
way.
ordinary Catholic is responding.
No
right now?
way. Let's
For
see
real?
if she's on live.
Hold on. Okay, let me pull it up. Hold
Go to
on.
her channel. See if she's live.
We'll do this right now.
Please.
She
tell
has
me
no
she's
idea who
live.
she's playing with.
She just had a video an hour ago.
There's no
Let's
way
see.
we weren't even doing it an hour ago though. There's no way
No.
she put it up.
She does videos though. She doesn't have live. She doesn't go live. She can't
Invite her
probably
to
live.
StreamYard.
Response. So her latest video is response to traditional Catholics concerned about my profanity in one of her videos.
Oh, it's probably because I had a bunch of fans go in there. It was like, "What authority are you for like swearing and cussing him out or something like that?" I don't know.
She's not capable of doing live videos yet. I bet. Like when you first start your channel, you can't go live.
Unless you go through
Yeah.
software like this that we use.
Yeah.
Because isn't it like, is it a 500 or 1,000 or something that you need to go live?
1,000. You need
1,000. Okay. Bring her on the show. Do you guys want to see her on the show?
I mean, we had Pine Sap on. She can't be that far off from his theology, right?
Oh, come on. That is low.
I'm kidding. I was joking.
That
Poor
is
Pine
low.
Sap.
He was fun, man. Honestly, like, you know, I know a lot of people. He's not everybody's cup of tea.
Oh, is
but
she responding? Is she commenting on our video? That might be,
Is that what it is?
or she might be. No, in probably on her video. She might be responding to our comments on her video.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if
Let me
I can
see.
pull that up.
Someone says someone that Colossus is going to
Holy
burn in hell
cow!
for what
It's
he said
all
on her-
out. She just got like a ton of comments, and she's replying to them. Oh, this is great. Okay, so traditional Catholics still think Francis is the Pope. You might be a bit confused. She wrote, "There's no such thing as traditional Catholics. You're just Catholic who likes to attend extraordinary form of mass."
No, hold on. This is even better. Why are you flirting with Nick Cavazos? He sure is handsome. The reply, I'm an old lady, but I did like to flirt when I was younger.
Can you do a video reviewing your favorite anime? Somebody wrote. I don't do anime. Somebody wrote, "Snap girl, slay Pookie Boo." Yes, educate them fools. Yes.
Or I like this one. Nick Cavazos doesn't know what he is talking about. He uses Chat GPT to make the scripts for all his videos and spends all his time watching cringe anime.
This is
So
amazing.
true.
You guys
So
are the best.
Oh, keep hitting her up, y'all.
Which video is yours?
Yes, Queen, go off. Keep calling out
yeah.
this deceitful and evil crypto set a traditional Thomas Cavazos is evil.
Could you imagine Taylor Marshall doing what we're doing right now?
Dude.
Like,
so
could you
good.
picture another Catholic commentator doing what we're doing right now?
Is that necessarily like, is that,
Oh,
should we maybe consider that more though?
I don't know. This got out of hand.
no, let it continue. This is the
Went off the
best part
rails.
about the internet. This is the best part about the internet.
And we are not. We have always proclaimed that we are unprofessional.
No, I don't think. Yes, Sue's telling us to go to confession.
Hold on.
Hey, you never know.
man.
You never know.
Yeah, listen, we didn't tell anybody to do anything. We were to like encourage her, like just make her think she just got like hundreds of fans out of nowhere, you know? She'd be like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Here's the
Oh,
thing.
brother.
I subscribe to her. Make sure she does more videos because it's videos like that that really shows people that we are right. Like,
I'm commenting on the Taylor Marshall one. This is go to your local parish, stop listening to Taylor Marshall. See, the thing is, a lot of people already commented on that. We got to comment on the ones that nobody's commented on.
Yep.
Dude, this is too funny.
Oh, this was good.
Message to Catholics supporting vegan. Let's see. There's 3 comments on it. Yeah, you just got everything's got to be slay queen. Yes, girl. Like that's the stuff you gotta do.
Yes, Epo Rose. Let's make sure she gets more subs than Lofton. That would be the greatest.
We can't even get as
many
subs as Lofton.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna do that, can we do that to us first?
Everyone doesn't subscribe to you guys. Your viewers don't subscribe to you guys, but goes and subscribes to her.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, exactly. Half our audience isn't subscribed to us. They're gonna go subscribe to her. Oh man, we really are very childish. I will say. Are there any other? Let's see. I'll check the fresh feed. I'll check my. Let's see.
I mean, that is probably the case.
Whoa, Francis is leading souls into moral slavery and eternal death. That's
Who
a
said
bold
that?
statement. The infallible and irreformable teaching of the Catholic Church on the divine assistance of grace to avoid sin is directly contradicted by Francis. This is probably the same.
What are we talking about now?
This is the same book from earlier, but this is the 3rd part in the series. This is the 3rd part in the series on the nature of true freedom, drawing especially from, the teaching of Pope Leo XIII in his encyclical on human freedom. The first part explained man's natural liberty, and the second part explained that we can attain moral liberty by observing the natural law. This is a bit much. This is a little heady.
Where are you taking this from?
LifeSite.
Oh, we're at 2 hours. We don't have to look at random stuff to go longer.
Well, you got stuff to do tomorrow. I don't.
Son of a.
me and Nick will keep going until we get $100 super chat for him to play the banjo. I don't know.
It is 81 in this room. I am sweating, and my computer is just putting out more heat.
All right, guys. I wanted to stay on. Rob's cutting the feed on us. I don't know. We didn't give you guys a local show, so I figured I'd go a little extra tonight. But Rob wants to cut us off.
Guys, if you're not,
Yeah, you're right. Anthony, I'm gonna let you cook. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Go subscribe to the show. Come on, guys. Especially those of you guys who aren't subscribe. Come on.
Subscribe to us. Subscribe to the traditional Thomist. If you guys are not subscribed, actually, he gets more views than we do. I watched his last video; had 10,000 views on it.
Yeah, I have
Because
no
he does
clue.
good videos.
Yeah, he actually puts effort into his.
I appreciate the love, y'all. I appreciate it.
Traditional Thomist last video has 10,000 views. Vatican League Latin Mass band. Well, not your last one. You put last one up 3 hours ago. 2 days ago, he's got 10,000 views on it. Holy get the banjo out, Nick.
Bro,
Get the banjo out, bro.
Banjos are out of tune. They're all out of tune.
What
refund the
exactly is ARS? Am I missing something?
ARS? I have no clue.
Pro bono. Can you? What is that?
They're paying us to get off. I said we'll keep going until we get $100 super chat.
Oh, did you really? I did not even hear you say that.
Get off the air, stupid. That's what they're saying.
Okay, I get thrown on the bus all the time. I'm used to
it. Nick, those bandages, you've got to get those tuned up, bro.
Oh wait, hold on. ARS might be the denomination.
Really?
Oh, that's fair. Like from a country. Like,
hold on.
Yeah, what would it be though?
ARS.
Oh, you're saying it's not a dollar,
right?
Wait, let's look up. Let's look up the conversion rate.
It is literally 11. It's less than 1 cent, guys. It's an Argentinian peso. That is hilarious.
Had to play the banjo for 11
0.01.
Clever.
That is genius.
That is really funny.
I freaking hate you guys. I got so excited. I'm like, oh crap, we got $100. You guys are savage, man. That is
Bergoglio
funny.
bucks.
I gotta be honest. It's the second highest super chat we got tonight, so I don't know.
That's a
dude.
Will we get one $5 super chat tonight? We do have a cheap audience. It's okay. We love you.
You guys are both the best and the worst in the world.
Yeah. Karma. Oh man. Ah, look at that. All right. Call it a night, boys.
Canadian.
All right. Canadian 50. How much is that?
Like $7.
All right, we'll take it.
Hold on, let me do some quick math.
$12.11 out of the night.
It's $11.
All right, that's fair.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Not too bad. Yeah.
You know, that's so genius. I'm gonna start contributing in Argentinian pesos to channels.
No, you want to know what that made me realize though, Rob? What Joe Diodati did for us that time? Like the Australian conversion rate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like that actually, I didn't even think of that. Like the Australian, because the Australian conversion rate is crazy.
Yeah, it's like 4,500 Australian.
Dang.
Yeah, man. Joe, you are the best if you're listening to this.
Yeah, when I said you're the best, I was specifically talking about Joe, and the worst was everyone else.
Yes. No, Joe Diodati. The reason this show exists is a big part because of him.
Yep.
Like a big part because me and Rob were like, I don't know if we could keep doing this. And he was like, he gave us the encouragement to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently
we're getting goofy now.
Staying on, it's getting really funny. Well, all right. I mean, if you guys give me a topic, I could riff on it.
To be fair, like I took a 2-hour nap before this, so I'm not like tired.
I'm hungry though, so I'm gonna go eat a little bit.
Go get food. Right. You can
eat on it.
I have to cook it and stuff, you know.
There's still people hanging out for this. It's crazy. Hang on. How many we got on YouTube? YouTube's got 240 still.
We break every other rule on this channel. We might as well eat on air.
My Twitter. The thing with Twitter is you don't know if those people are still watching. It just like once somebody opens it on Twitter, you get that number, and then it doesn't. It doesn't. You don't know if they left. So it shows my Twitter handle has 275, Rob has 100, and the Avoiding Babylon has 80. But we don't know if those people just clicked on it and then left. Like, I really I really only count the YouTube views.
$5 for 30 more minutes. What kind of
Yeah, you divide
cheapskate
that.
offer is that?
Think about how much you're offering there, honestly.
Do $1 a minute. Do
Yeah,
at least
it's
$1 a
like-
minute.
It's $2.50 an hour.
But you
We
gotta
want at
split it
least
3
minimum
ways.
wage. Yeah, except we don't.
30 minutes.
Sorry, Nick.
$5 for 30 minutes split 3 ways.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, you guys give. I'll tell you what. You guys super chat. You guys super chat topics. We'll talk about them.
We
could do an AMA.
honestly should do things like that more.
Yeah.
The big channels, that's how they make money.
Yeah, we'll suit. All right. So Catholic dating do's and don'ts. You know, I've been out of the dating game for so long. What are like some of the things that are going on in these days? I mean, so you start off, okay, how about this? You meet somebody on a dating app, a Catholic dating app. When does it start getting sinful in the text?
Yeah, okay. So if you're wanting a real answer, Nick needs tips. Yeah, well, I think all Gen Z males need tips on everything.
Yeah,
at the
I do
moment.
too.
It's because you're all autistic.
Okay, so yeah, so if I'm actually applying real moral theology to it, so when it comes to courtship, you should obviously be intentional about like actually getting to know the girl. And Tim Gordon's talked actually about like there's this like LARPy sentiment amongst traditional Catholic men, where they are fawning over the girl and they're acting kind of very womanly-ish, if you will, treating her like an idol way too quickly and things along that nature. And he's right about that. One area that we have to also take into consideration, though, is that if if courtship is ordered toward marriage, right, then that's how you have to be intentional in going down that route. But what about the do's and the don'ts? Well, it is always a mortal sin to knowingly and willingly do actions against the 6th and 9th commandment, right?
Mhm.
Actions of impurity. So you have to be extremely careful about yourself and about also the other person, right? That you're talking to, like loving them, if you will, to avoid actions along that nature. So some of these things are obviously applied to everyone. Obviously, fornication's out of the window. Any type of foreplay that leads up to fornication is out of the window. Passionate kissing is also out of the window. Passionate kissing, actually, there's literally a condemned thesis in moral theology that
Don't
says
say moral theology.
Don't say moral theology.
Like do's and don'ts. Don't talk about moral theology if you're dating a chick.
You know what? At least I'll make it to heaven. I don't know. Like, I mean, if they don't want any of that, it's probably not what I want. But
well, no, I think what he's saying is, all right. So
he's saying tone the tism down just a tad.
Yeah. So like if you're so
be
Nick,
yourself.
Yeah, be yourself. Right. So so because we
I'm
talked
an
about this once
aspiring
before.
theologian, get over it.
Well, we talked about this once before where I said, if you're doing Thomism at work and that's like your job and that's what you're studying for, that like, do you want to come home to that? Or do you kind of want to separate
my wife?
Yeah, like if you meet a woman, like do you want your wife into that, or would you prefer your wife into more like feminine, her own thing, or like more feminine things and doing her own thing, or do you kind of want to be able to spit ideas back and forth with her?
Nick, stay in incel. You lose your scholastic powers. That's so funny. So funny, dude. To answer your question, Anthony, preferably it would be someone who's into like theology, but realistically, I know it's not going to happen. So I'm fine with both.
Yeah, I think.
but see, here's the thing. The question was Catholic like do's and don'ts, and like you do have to take these moral practices into actual effect. And so, like for instance, it is an actual condemned statement in moral theology that like passionate kissing is a venial sin. Like passionate kissing, just like make-out sessions when you're not married are mortally sinful. So people have to take this into account. Does this mean that you? Yeah, exactly. Does this mean you can't hold hands, or you can't give hugs, or something like that? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying you gotta be careful with this. And
yeah, because it's gonna lead you to want to like you're throwing temptation in your face just right off the bat, right? I mean,
exactly. What is it? Oh wait, ARS, isn't that Argentina? Nick, pull up to La Regia Argentina. Lots of SSPX ladies. Well, I mean, hopefully I'll be moving to St. Mary's, Kansas soon. So
So
lots
what
of
about
actual court.
texting though, Nick? Like, okay, so I guess you could write love letters if you're courting somebody, right? Like you could pour your heart out to somebody, but I would think if you're texting, it's a little bit different than that. And I would think you got to be careful.
Yeah, you have to be you have to be
cautious.
very, very careful because I mean, again, like if marriage in a sacramental sense is supposed to lead you to heaven to make you guys saints, if you guys are fooling around, it can be like before marriage, it can be a big issue. And so that's why emotional chastity is also a thing. So that's why you have to, particularly in the beginning, be somewhat unattached. You got to keep your options open, be somewhat unattached, and actually be asking yourself rational questions like, what does she want? What does he want? How does he want to run a family? How does she want to be a mother, et cetera, et cetera? The way that she's dressing, the way that he dresses. In the context of text messages, I would look, it's like, okay, if they're using lewd language, yeah, like exactly.
Yeah,
Things
that's
along
what
that
I was
nature.
getting at.
If they're trying to get that, then that's wrong. Love letters, though, I would say prudentially, like in and of themselves, love letters are not sinful per se, right? They could be imprudent in the sense that, maybe it's too early or something to that effect. For me, I think I would only do it if either A, I knew that we were getting engaged soon. Like, so she was, giving me the
Yeah.
hints,
Yeah, you don't want to
looking
lead
at
her
rings and
on.
stuff like that. Exactly. Or we were engaged. Like that stuff makes sense in that context. To talk
If you're gonna write a love letter, make sure you got to act straight because it's a little gay.
Well, I'll say
yeah.
this. I'll tell the guys this. Never come on to the girl too strong. Like you have to be very cautious of that. If you come on too strong, a girl wants what she can't have. So she has to like you a little more than you like her. At least she has to think that. Like it's very much a game in the beginning with girls. They're not normal. Like you're playing, they're not rational creatures. So you have to actually kind of act like you're not that into them, and then they'll want something to do. They're just weird girls.
Are we
guys.
trying to get to under 10% female viewership in a
I'm
single
just
week?
telling you, girls are weird creatures, man. They're not,
It's true.
You guys are supposed to be supposed to be setting me up, and you're destroying all the female demographic. Thanks, guys. The only woman that pays attention to me in my life is my mom and ordinary Catholic online.
That's not even misogynistic. I'm being honest. Like women. I remember guys that would come on to go. Like this one guy I was friends with. Never had a girlfriend, and then he finally got like a chance to hang out with this girl. On the first date, he goes over with flowers for her, and he writes her this card. And I'm like, he blew it. Like I knew before he even got there, he blew it. And of course, he took her out. And the girl was just
so what you're saying is that one girl Joe went on a couple of dates with. The problem wasn't that he took her for dirty water dogs on the second date. The problem was he took her for a nice steak on the first.
No, okay, so that's okay. Like you could take a girl out to a nice place, but you can't. It's got to just be, hey, this is what I do. I'm just balling a little bit. It can't be
exactly.
It can't be. I'm so in love with you. I want to take you to this great place. Like you just got like you can play it off like, oh, I'm taking you to a nice place.
If Bronner wrote about dating, he would be Anthony. That is the best line I have heard in such a long time. Goodness.
Well, I'm not wrong here. You guys think I'm wrong? I'm not wrong. You gotta kind of like.
You're right. You're actually 100% right.
You got like
no, you're not. I don't disagree with you. I'm just dying at that comment.
Yeah, if you come on, and it works with guys that way too. If you think about it, like Nick, you've even told me it's something kind of like this where it's like the girl was just so in love with me. It was just like, oh man, it's over. But like you want a challenge. Everybody wants a little bit of a challenge. Yeah. But girl doesn't have a little bit of a challenge. You got no shot.
Yeah, and for people like who are understanding this, I don't walk up to girls and be like, so what's your thoughts on Aquinas' treatise on law?
I know.
He walked instead he walked up to girls and like, look at this single action army you got here on my hip.
Fact.
Yeah, when you guys spurg out with your guns, I don't know how these chicks are gonna handle that. I don't know, man.
It's true. My point is, it's like, I mean, the thing is, girl, like even girls want guys to be interested in a subject, and interested and passionate about something, right? I'm not saying necessarily something like a weirdo, like into some really weird stuff, but like girls want a guy who's actually putting forth interest into something, etc., and can talk about their life. Obviously, you need to be asking her questions about her primarily, right? And getting to know her and truly discerning that. I think though that what drives a lot of Gen Z males crazy though, and you guys let me know in the chat if you can concur, is that unfortunately our expectations for both genders, I think, are out of whack. I think guys are more realistic. I think a lot of guys are just looking for wives, and a lot of girls are, looking for a guy who's making at least 180,000 a year, and it just doesn't exist. I'll say in my circumstance, I've been actually asked out 3 times over the last 2 or 3 years by girls, and I've turned them all down mostly because I just wasn't they weren't per se my type. And I recognize that for me, like as you guys have known, if you watch my show and stuff like this, I've told this story before. I was dating a Thomist, an actual Thomist trad Catholic girl who ended up cheating on me and hanging out with a 40-year-old man, et cetera, et cetera. It was really weird stuff. That did a lot of damage to me that made me end up being too picky. And so part of the reason I can't find a date is I've become too picky kind of as a wound. And I recognize it's a wound.
Would you date a SCOTUS?
Bro, heck no. I'd rather date a liberal than a SCOTUS. Are you kidding me?
It made you a little jaded, Nick, which I think is a good thing. Like, you need to get burned by a chick to see.
Yeah, you do.
You need to get burned by a chick so you see what they're capable of, because they are capable of some.
True. It's very true.
Women
very
are
true
capable of some dirty things, man. Not dirty, like mean things.
Anthony's in the chat at the same time being on the show.
Wait, what happened?
This is basically right of your marriage advice video.
Yeah. You don't want. I'm telling you don't want to check with intellectual hobbies, man. You don't. I mean, you might. I mean, some guys do. Some guys like you seem like somebody that actually wants to be challenged intellectually. I want to feel like, I like that my wife needs me for everything. I want to feel like she can't do anything without me. It's like.
Including park a car in the garage.
Yeah, like simple tasks she needs my help with, and I feel like a man because my wife's like, babe, can you help me with that? And I go and do it for her. Like when I take the packages in, if she goes food shopping, she's like, so like, you just take care of me, babe. You're the best. And it's like all I do is take the packages in, but it boosts a guy's like confidence and ego when his wife is grateful for him and stuff, So then I gas hers up a little bit. You gotta play that game with each other a little bit. You gotta make sure you're making the person feel seen and keeps your marriage fresh.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily wanting my future wife to be an encyclopedia. My whole point is just ultimately at the end of the day, as long as she's pious and she actually has the right motives in life, she wants to be a saint. That's all I'm really looking for at the end of the day. But if she has a brain, which is what hopefully you do, that's good, right? Like for instance, for me, I'll be honest. If you can't name the continents, which I've met college girls who can't name the continents, you're insanely unattractive to me at that point. You could be a 10 physically, and I'm done. I'm like, if you can't name the continents, I'm done. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's literally second grade stuff.
Exactly. Like if you can't spell your name, I'm done.
I'm totally fine with that. Like that wouldn't bother me at all. Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
I'll tell you right now, my wife was never book smart, but she's incredibly like creative, and she's just smart in other places. Like I wouldn't want a total dumb broad. It's just the RTF on the continent's even real.
They're real. They're just flat.
I don't.
Are you a solar system guy?
No, I'm fully on board with space is fake and gay, dude. I don't think we know anything going on beyond Earth.
Yeah, Anthony's fine with it.
Can't listen. Here's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if a chick is book smart at all. Like, I would rather like, you don't want a girl smarter than you for sure. You really don't. Like that, you will not. Well, you will never live it down. You don't want. It's the same thing as like having a girl that makes more money than you.
Well, you'd want. Well, yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, but you'd want her to be smart in certain areas more than you.
Yeah. But it doesn't need to be geography. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if my wife knows.
No, yeah, my point. Like, I'm not asking if she can give me like a detailed explanation of the development of Cambodia. I'm just saying if you can't tell me this, the continents, you're done. You're done.
first off,
No,
so
okay. That's. I would even say that. I would say, okay, can you name 5 countries? Like, let's see if they can name 5, because I've seen those videos.
and if she names Italy,
they're like
she's
Paris,
right away.
Africa, London.
Yeah, Andrew's right here. Men want respect and women want security, but women also want to be like that. Dude, they're weird. Like they need to be seen, but that not initially. Like initially, when you first meet them, you gotta not see them. Like you gotta make it like. I'll send you a link, Mike. He's jumping on.
This is gonna be a long one.
Oh, we're gonna get in trouble. Hang on, I'll send you.
I'll give you guys like
Anthony,
20 more minutes.
Yeah, we can't stay on too long, but I'll let Mike come on. Hang on.
Hold on, while Anthony.
I didn't even see you texted me, Mike. I have my notifications off. Mike texted me.
Not do this.
Yeah, like I've seen those videos where they're like, can you name